Florida wins it, they will receive and defend the south goal. Auburn kicks off and defends the goal down to our left, the north goal. Now let's take a look at the Great Southern Wood starting lineup, brought to you by Great Southern Wood, the makers of Osmos, pressure-treated pine. Remember, if it doesn't say Osmos on the yellow tag, believe me, you don't want it. Florida comes on the field amidst a chorus of boos from the Auburn partisans. And here's the way the Gators line up offensively. Harrison Houston is at split end. The left tackle is Big Reggie Green, playing on a sore ankle today, but nonetheless answering the call. At left guard is Dean Golden. The center, Grant Couch. At right guard, Jim Watson. The right tackle, Jason Odom. And the tight end will be Charlie Dean. The quarterback, Danny Werfel. Werfel, the redshirt freshman sensation out of Fort Walton Beach. At flanker is Willie Jackson. The tailback, the top rusher in the SEC, that's Eric Rett, the senior from West Hollywood. And the fullback is Chris Bilke, a junior from Holmes Beach. Auburn offensively has Frank Sanders, a native Floridian from Fort Lauderdale at split end. The left tackle, Wayne Gandy, another Florida product. Jason Taylor is at left guard, the sophomore out of Mobile. Shannon Robeek, sophomore, Denham Springs, Louisiana, will be the center. Leonard Thomas, subbing for the injured Willie Anderson, opens at right guard. At right tackle, Bruton's Anthony Redmond. The tight end will be Andy Fuller. Stan White, the Birmingham senior, will be at quarterback today. The flanker, Thomas Bailey. And James Bostic is the tailback. Another Florida product, a junior out of Fort Lauderdale. Auburn's top rusher, 4th overall in the SEC in rushing. And Tony Richardson will be the fullback today. He's the Dadeville senior. Here comes the Auburn kickoff team on the field as we pause 10 seconds for identification. This is the Auburn Network. Quentin Riggins and our network team back here at Jordan-Hare Stadium, a sellout crowd of better than 85,000 on hand as Auburn, ranked 19th in the country, entertains the 4th-ranked and likewise undefeated Florida Gators. Brian Karkoska, Tallahassee, Florida product, kicks off to Jack Jackson and Harrison Houston for the Gators.
Keep in mind that Jack Jackson is the ball player who returned a kickoff against Mississippi State for 100 yards and a touchdown to give Florida a lead again. A very dangerous return man.
Karkoska, a line drive knuckleball toward the far side. It's going to be Houston over along the far boundary at the 10 to the 15, skips up to the 20, crosses the 20 out to the 25, falling down over the 27, 28-yard line. They had him pinned in 2 or 3 times before they finally got him to the ground. And I believe it was Joe Frazier who made the tackle, at least the first hit, and dropped him at the 28. That's a gain of a return of 23 yards. And the Auburn defense urging this crowd to get pumped up. And it doesn't take a lot of prompting before they're on their feet and yelling at the top of their collective voices. Florida opens in that fun and gun. Danny Werfel, the quarterback, Jackson and Houston. In the slot to the left, there's Houston in motion. Back to the right side, or the short side of the field. Toss sweep, Eric Rett running to the short side. Tries to turn the corner. He's butted out of bounds along the 30-yard line. 2-yard gain on that toss sweep. Brian Robinson out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, with help from Chris Schelling and Alonzo Etheridge as Auburn had good pursuit. Gary Walker, Willie Whitehead are the ends. Damon Primus and Randy Hart open at tackles. The linebackers, Anthony Harris, Fort Pierce, Florida. Bridgeport, Connecticut's Jason Miska, and Terry Solomon is the other linebacker. Otis Mounds, Calvin Jackson, Chris Schilling, and Brian Robinson in the secondary. Florida 2nd and 8 to go at their 30-yard line. Here's that slot to the left. Calling the play is Werfel. Werfel retreats, deals it off to Rett. He's bottled up, and they got him for a loss. He lost a yard back to the 29. Willie Whitehead sniffing that one out as they tried that draw play, and Eric Rett, the leading rusher in the SEC, is dropped for a rare loss of a yard back to the 29, and the Gators will open it. We'll look at 3rd down and 9 at their 29.
Willie Whitehead is tied for 2nd on the Auburn team in tackles for loss coming into the ball game with 4. That's his 5th tackle for loss, and a big play coming off the block with one of the Florida offensive linemen.
Houston splits away to the short side of the field to the right. Here is motion by Harrison Houston. A 3rd and 9 play for Danny Werfel out of the I set. Werfel retreats to throw over the middle, fires a pass that is caught up over the 35, and out to the 37, 38-yard line is Harrison Houston with Calvin Jackson dragging him down from behind, but Houston should have his first down. That'll be a gain of about 9, and that's exactly what they needed.
Florida, Jim, on third down conversion attempts, 44.3% success rate on the year. That is phenomenal. That leads the SEC, and they're averaging 27 first downs per ball game, which also leads the SEC.
So the Gators open with a first down. The ball just shy of the Florida 39. Florida's so lethal offensively. They can hurt you in so many ways. Here comes Willie Jackson to the left, and in the slot is Harrison Houston. Rhett and Randolph now are the setbacks. Motion by Houston, back to the right or the short side of the field. Retreating to throw, Werfel. Play fake. Werfel looks, got time, fires, pass, overthrown and incomplete to this near boundary intended for Willie Jackson, the senior out of Gainesville. Otis Mounds covering on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10 at the Gator 39.
And if Danny Werfel had not thrown that ball too high for his receiver, his intended receiver, Willie Jackson, Calvin Jackson, the Auburn cornerback, would have had a chance for the interception. Jim, that's the first evidence we've had today that the field is a little bit slippery because Willie Jackson, the Florida receiver, completely slipped down on the sideline cut.
Auburn changing men defensively. The Tigers trying to get lined up as Werfel brings Florida up to the firing line, and here's the snap and the throw, and the pass is caught wide open 45 to the 50 into Auburn territory to the 45 and on to the 44 is fullback Kevin Randolph. Mike Pina and Del McGee teamed up to make the stop. That's a 17-yard gain and a first down. And Charlie, Auburn looked a little bit disorganized. They pulled Terry Solomon out of the defensive alignment, and they sent Pina in there, but I don't know if everybody was where they were supposed to be on that particular play.
Well, all Steve Spurrier did is he ran his receivers deep, and he came out of the backfield with Kelvin Randolph out of the fullback position, man-to-man coverage by number 53, Anthony Harris, and he just simply beat him one-on-one.
Randolph and Red in the eye set. Both ends are split away. There's motion by Houston. A new set of downs for the Gators at the Auburn 44. The play fake by Werfel, and he loads it up, and he's going for broke. Down deep, incomplete. At the goal line, Jack Jackson. Good coverage from Del McGee, who was with him step for step, but Werfel showed a great arm as he threw that ball about 60 yards in the air on target.
Well, Danny Werfel's got a tremendous arm, and he's known throughout the Southeastern Conference and beginning to be known nationally for his accuracy. In completions, Jim, on the year, he's 59% and threw for 68% completions in high school, so he's got a very accurate arm. But Del McGee right there in the hip pocket on the coverage.
And Auburn not putting much pressure on Werfel. Red and Randolph. Red in motion off the top of the eye, back to the right. And Florida had movement at the line, and their flag's down, and they'll whistle that play dead. Florida's left tackle, Reggie Green, moved prematurely before the ball was snapped, and that'll cost Florida 5 yards back to near midfield.
We talked about it earlier. Quentin Riggins mentioned it in the Tiger Tailgate show. Last season in '92, Florida was the most penalized team in the SEC, and they're on track to become the most penalized team again in '93. So penalties could be a problem in a big game, and especially if it's a close game throughout the second half.
No score as yet. 12:44 in the opening period. Florida took the opening kick. They've had it ever since. 2nd and 15 for the Gators, just inside Auburn land, just on the left side of the 50. Here's Harrison Houston in motion. Quarterback Werfel takes the snap, drifting back to throw with time. His pass out in the flat, unable to hand it out is Chris Doring, couldn't hang on down at the Auburn 45. Let's go to Quentin Riggins on the sideline.
Jim, if you notice, Auburn's taken out Jason Miska, the linebackers, playing 5 defensive backs. They brought in Dale McGee to play corner, and they moved Chris Shelton to go man-to-man with Chris Doran. So watch as the game comes in. And Mike Pelton and Mike Pina come in for passing situational third downs, making 6 defensive backs. They call it dime.
3rd and 15. Here's a possession play. Werfel goes with nobody behind him in the backfield. They got 4 wide receivers. Needing 15 yards near midfield, just inside Auburn territory. Werfel in the blitz, dodges Harris, rolls out to his right, throws on the run. Harrison Houston won't be able to catch that one down at the Auburn 10-yard line, but there is a flag down back upfield, and they may get Auburn on a penalty here. Harris was giving pursuit to the quarterback, Werfel. As the sideline closed in on Werfel, he unloaded downfield to Harrison Houston, and let's see if they whistle Auburn for a roughness penalty.
Danny Werfel got a lot of pressure from Anthony Harris from the left side, and as he threw the football, 2 of the Tigers converged on him. It was Anthony Harris and somebody else hit him out of bounds. So Auburn is going to be flagged for the roughness penalty, hitting the quarterback late out of bounds after he threw the football.
That gives Florida new life. Our officials today, the referee is Al Ford, Charlie Hanna the umpire, Robert Towns the linesman, the line judge is Cleve Hale, Bill Bowden the field judge, Ben Oldham the side judge, the back judge is Ronnie Huggins. So a 15-yard step off down inside the Auburn 35 on the roughness penalty, the personal foul. And here's Florida moving that ball right downfield, aided by the big penalty. First down play for Werfel. Let's call it the Auburn 35. Motion by wideout. Rhett takes the toss sweep from tailback. Rhett looking for a block, tries to turn outside, can't get a block. Schelling and Mounds team up to make the stop after a short gain. Stringing out the play to this near side boundary on big Eric Rhett.
Well defended by Auburn that time, Jim. What Steve Spurrier was trying to do, instead of running the fake reverse to the outside and having on the toss sweep your tailback fake it to the end coming around to the outside, there was an attempted fake to the inside, holding the Auburn linebackers momentarily, but good coverage on the corners by the secondary.
Harrison Houston to the right side. Jack Jackson to the left. The ball at the left hash mark. Florida moves from our right to our left. Second down and 8. Motion by Houston back toward the football. Retreating to throw. The quarterback Werfel looking. Werfel flushed out of the pocket. Going to throw upfield. Pass is caught. Beautiful play. Is it good? Yes, it is. No. Now they say incomplete at the Auburn 23. They say that Doring crapped it. One official said good, and the other official came in and overruled and said pass incomplete. They ruled that Chris Doring made a diving grab, but he trapped the ball. So it's third down and 8 for the Gators at the Auburn 33.
Danny Werfel dropped straight back, and he was hit just as he released the football. And he's a redshirt freshman, has not played a lot of Southeastern Conference football, but he showed a lot of poise to stay in the pocket and get rid of that one.
He really got jolted as he unloaded. They need 8 from the Auburn 33. Rhett, the setback. Slot formation right. Now they got a double wing set. Werfel may be checking off at the scrimmage line. He backpedals, sets up with time. Werfel again chased out of the pocket. Got open field in front of him. Going to throw downfield. Pass is knocked down incomplete at the goal line in the end zone. Willie Jackson, the intended receiver, and it was Chris Schelling who was covering on the play. That was an unusual play in itself because Werfel rolled out. He had his running back, Rhett, upfield wide open for the first down, but he chose to go long instead. He would have had a first down and more had he thrown to Rhett, but he went down in the end zone, and there was the receiver Jackson and the defender Schelling. Or was it Otis Mounds? It was Otis Mounds on the coverage. Good play by Otis Mounds. And here's a long Florida field goal try by Judd Davis. His longest this year has been 46 yards. This would be 50 yards, angled back to the right side. The kick is long enough. Kick is good. 50-yard field goal, Judd Davis. And Florida breaks out to a 3-0 lead with 11:17 in the opening period. Timeout is called. Auburn football continues in a moment.
If you want more performance from your car, maybe what you need is more performance from your gasoline. For quick response and smooth acceleration, move up to 93-octane Exxon Supreme gasoline and turn the Tiger loose. For high performance, rely on Exxon 93 Supreme.
The Auburn Network's coverage of Auburn football is brought to you in part by First Alabama Bank in Alexander City, Enterprise, and hometowns throughout the state. First Alabama Bank has the strength you can count on.
They've officially called that a 49-yard field goal, although it was closer to 50 yards for Judd Davis. Davis is some more kicker. He is now 7 of 8 on the year and is 2 of 2 over 40 yards. Shane Edge, the punter, is tied with Auburn's Terry Daniel for the nation's lead in punting, both well in excess of 47 yards a kick. So got some outstanding kicking here today at Jordan-Hare Stadium. The Gators take the opening kick and grab a 3-0 lead. And here kicking off is Shane Edge to Thomas Bailey. Bailey to the near side, picks it up over along the boundary at the 10. Heads back to the wide side of the field, trying to pick up a block. He can't do it. He's spun down at the 19 or 20-yard line. Good play by Lawrence Wright of Florida to stop him right there at the 20.
And he had a lot of running room if he could have gotten outside of number 4, Lawrence Wright, who's one of the backup cornerbacks, but he did a good job of containing Thomas Bailey and not letting him get to that far sideline. So Auburn will start its first possession of the first quarter.
Trailing 0-3 after the long field goal, and here come the Tigers. Out of that huddle wearing the blue shirts, Florida in the white uniforms with the orange and blue trim and orange headgear. Stan White's going to go from the shotgun on this first down play. There's the snap from Robique. He rolls to his left, throws on the run. Pass is caught for first down by Bailey. Sidesteps the tackler at the 30. Darts up to the 35 and down at the 36. White to Bailey for 11 or 12 yards. Darren Hambrick making the stop for the Gators. That's an Auburn first down.
Well, a little bit of a surprise. Coach Terry Bowden deciding to come out throwing the football against the Gator defense. Most people felt like that Auburn would try to establish the run against Florida, but it certainly would help establish the run if Auburn could get some open passing lanes.
Let's call that 16 yards up to the 36-yard line. White to Bailey on first down, and here's Auburn with a new set of downs. They operate from the I formation this time. Sean Carter split to the left, and Gaucher to the right of the wide side. Toss sweep, running back, the tailback, cutting back inside is Bostic over the 40, slams up to the 44-yard line. James Bostic knocked off his feet by Dexter Daniel, the sophomore linebacker out of Valdosta, Georgia. The Florida defense, Kevin Carter and Mark Campbell at ends, Ellis Johnson and William Gaines at tackles. The linebackers, the Gator back as they call it, is Hambrick. The bandit back is Ben Hanks. The inside backers are Ed Robinson and Dexter Daniels, and in the secondary, Larry Kennedy, Michael Gilmore, and Anthone Lott. That's a gain of about 8.5, almost 9 yards by Bostic on first down. Let's call it second and a yard at the 44. Give to the fullback, Richardson, and he won't get the first down. He'll be hit behind the line and lose a half a yard or so. Tony Richardson was hit by Mark Campbell and Kevin Carter, the Florida defensive ends, right there at the line of scrimmage. So Auburn will look at third down, and they'll need a yard and a half or two.
Even though the Florida defensive front is a little bit young, they've only got one senior starting, William Gaines, on that defensive front. The Sporting News before the season rated Florida's defensive front as one of the top 5 in the country. So they've got a lot of talent there, although not a lot of age. Very young on that defensive line.
3rd and 2, two tight ends, Andy Fuller and Jesse McCovery. Auburn in a short yardage situation. Out of the I set, toss sweep, Bostic looking for a block, won't find it. There's a flag down. He is really hammered, hit very hard as he tried to cut it upfield. It was Ed Robinson who fought off a blocker and really laid the wood to James Bostic, and then a flag went down right there at the point of attack. And Florida's celebrating, so this may be against Auburn. Bostic, they say, did get a yard, but Auburn would be 4th and 1, and Florida will decline the penalty.
Holding by the offense. The penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
Al Ford saying that Auburn was guilty of holding. Bostic got a yard up to the 45, so Auburn will punt on 4th and 1. Florida sends Larry Kennedy back deep, awaiting the kick from Terry Daniel. 9:10 left in the opening period. Florida leads it 3-0. A field goal on their opening possession. Overcast skies, temperature in the high 60s here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. The snap to Daniel, and there's another boomer by Terry. They're going to let it go. It'll bounce inside the 5. Auburn trying to down it. Did they? No. Auburn got a hand on it, tried to down it, but whoever touched it rolled into the end zone with the ball. Timeout on the field. Let's take timeout.
When you're looking for quality workmanship in a complete auto body repair facility, the only place you need to go is Capital City Body Works. At Capital City Body Works, complete means everything, from total body repair to a full-service glass and upholstery shop. Our expert staff uses the latest equipment to repair your car. The insurance industry recognizes Capital City Body Works as one of the most qualified facilities in the Southeast. Come see me, Mike Hickson, at Capital City Body Works, 140 Southeast Dale Road, where we're not satisfied until you're satisfied. And believe me, that makes the difference.
First down, here's Danny Werfel of Florida at the 20-yard line. Give to Eric Rett. Slides off the left tackle spot, and he's up to the 23, 24-yard line. Etheridge and Solomon came up to hit him after a gain of, we'll say, 4 yards to the 24 on first down. So it'll be 2nd and 6 to go. We have 8 minutes and 38 seconds left in the opening period. Florida leading Auburn here 3-0 at Jordan-Hare Stadium. I'm Jim Fife with Charlie Trotman alongside. Quentin Riggins is on the sidelines to keep you posted from there. And here are the Gators. 2nd and 6 at the 24. Werfel with one setback. That's Rett. Motion by the wideout, give to Rhett straight up the middle of the field, crossing the 25, and he hammers his way out to the 29. Jason Miska trying to drag him down, but he just really ran over Jason Miska. Rhett is 6 feet and 212 pounds, and you give him a head of steam, and he is hard to bring down.
Well, he's the SEC's leading rusher. Came into the ball game averaging about 117 yards per game. His best game this season was 147 yards and 2 touchdowns against the University of Tennessee.
Gators needing a yard at their 29 for a first down. Wide receivers right and left. Jackson and Houston. The ball midway between the hash marks. The backs are in the eye. Give to the fullback. Got his first down across the 30 as he slides up to the 31-yard line. Solomon and Derek Robinson making the stop on Kevin Randolph for the Gators. He found a little hole after he bounced off the initial containment and slipped ahead for 2 up to the 31. First and 10 from there.
Jim, that key block was provided by Reggie Green. Some people thought that because of a bad ankle, he would not be playing today. He hurt it in the third quarter against LSU, but he's their all-world left tackle. Started as a true freshman, and he is one of the best in the nation.
Slot right. Rhett and Randolph are the setbacks. Werfel's going to give it to Rhett. Speeding to the outside, trying to turn the corner, and does. 35, Rhett to the 40, and down at the 41. He got about 10 or 11 yards in a first down before he was met head-on and dropped in a good open field stop by Brian Robinson. Well, it's quite obvious to me, Charlie, that if Auburn's to stay in this ball game, they're going to have to find a way to contain Eric Redd, and that's a lot easier said than done.
Absolutely. Florida has 14 turnovers in 5 ball games, 11 interceptions, and 3 fumbles. Auburn defensively needs to get a couple of turnovers in this ball game to slow down that Spurrier attack.
They gave Rhett 9 to the 40, so it's second and a yard. Werfel with time wants to throw down the middle of the field. Jack Jackson hauls it in at the 25, broke a tackle at the 15, and he's going to speed into the end zone. Chris Schelling had a hand on an ankle, but could not contain him. He had the step and dashed 59 yards for the score, and Florida leads 9-0.
Jack Jackson had scored 2 touchdowns coming into the ball game. He was Florida's second leading receiver, had 19 receptions, and he's the one that I mentioned early in the broadcast that had returned the kickoff 100 yards, so he's got great speed. And if you give Danny Werfel that amount of time to throw the football, that's the real key. No pressure on Danny Werfel, was able to wait for the long pass pattern to develop. Auburn's going to have to find a way to pressure Danny Werfel into throwing the ball early.
Judd Davis for the point after touchdown. Kick away out of the hold of Shane Edge. Kick is good. So Florida explodes to a 10-0 lead with 6:28 in the opening period. Auburn football continues in a moment.
I know a place, a wide open range, where the spirit's free to roam. And I know a place that won't ever change, just a taste will take you home. With a Dixie House away, the way of the West, when Dixie.
Paul Allen back at Auburn Network Control, checking the Dixie Crystal Sugar scoreboard. The Michigan Wolverines putting a run on Penn State. Michigan now leading that game 14-10 as they play with 5.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Now let's go back to Jim and Charlie at Jordan-Hare.
Danny Werfel, you give him a little time and he'll burn you, and that's exactly what he just did to Auburn right there as he threw a 59-yard scoring strike to Jack Jackson. It's 10-0 the Gators, and Auburn's got to get on the ball.
Florida only takes a little over 2 minutes on average per drive when they've scored this year, and that's exactly what happened on that drive, just a little bit over 2 minutes, and they got 7 points on the board out of it.
Shane Edge kicking to Stephen Davis and Thomas Bailey. It's Bailey at the 10, Bailey out across the 15, slams his way across the 20, and falls across the 22-yard line. So Bailey returns it for a dozen yards or so, and Auburn sets up there, first down and 10. The Tigers with 1 first down. The Gators with a 10-0 lead.
Keep in mind the Florida defense seems to be more vulnerable in the air. This year they're giving up just under 200 yards a ball game in the air, whereas on the ground they're only giving up about 114 yards per contest. So the Florida defense a little bit more vulnerable to the air attack.
Steve Spurrier has got himself one whale of a team, I'll tell you that. Florida rushing 4 in a 4-3. Stan White from the eye at the 22, a first down play. Tailback carries. Bostic looking for running room, won't find any. They drag him down as he tries to sidestep one guy, duck under another tackle. He can't do it. They grab him and yank him down. Ben Hanks and Dexter Daniels were all over the play. No gain on the play, and it's 2nd and 10 at the 22.
Florida's defensive line did a pretty good job on that play of stalemating the Auburn's locks. That was a draw play, basically run as a draw play, fullback lead, and they just stacked it up in there, and James Bostic couldn't find a lot of running room.
Stephen Davis checking into the Auburn backfield, replacing Bostic. Here's the shotgun, and they break Davis out as a wide receiver to this near side. Slot formation left. Out of the shotgun, Stan White with a snap, and the throw across the middle is caught and then dropped at the 25-yard line by Bailey. Bailey had that one in his hands, had the defender beaten, but somehow lost his concentration and dropped the ball. Anthony Lott was covering, but he had to step on Lott as he came over the middle, and Bailey just couldn't hold on. So it's 3rd down and 10. Auburn in need of a first down at least here to try to keep the heat off that defense. 5:37 in the opening period. Florida 10, Auburn nothing. There's Sanders splitting to the left, and Bailey comes to this near right side. Again, the shotgun formation. They keep Davis in the backfield this time along with Richardson. Waiting for the snap was White. He's got it. Looking, firing to the near side. 25, Davis takes it out to the 29 and is driven out of bounds, short of a first down by a couple of yards. Stephen Davis making the reception but couldn't get his first down as he tried to tightrope the sidelines. Ben Hanks put a shoulder into him with help from Larry Kennedy. So Auburn unable to get the first down. They'll be 4th and 3 at their 29, and Daniels is on to kick again. Larry Kennedy back deep for the Gators inside his 30. Last time Daniels almost pinned him at the goal line, but Auburn let the ball go over. Florida showing a 9-man rush. Daniel waiting at the 15. There's a snap, and he launches a beauty, a rocket, wobbly spiral that's going all the way through and out of the end zone on the roll. Man alive, what a kick. 71 yards by Terry Daniels. Timeout on the field. Let's take timeout.
There's strength in numbers, even when it comes to your insurance. Unlike the one company agent you may be dealing with now, the Pinkert Agency offers coverage through dozens of the nation's most reputable insurers. Dozens. For our clients, that means getting the best coverage at the best price. And because the Pinkert Agency represents thousands of families and businesses throughout Alabama, we're a strong voice on behalf of our clients' interests when it comes to claims. Put our numbers to work for you. Call Pinkert today at 244-7000.
Werfel, 1st and 10 at the Gator 20. Wide outs both sides. Werfel to throw. Pass is complete to Willie Jackson behind the line, and he darts up to the 23-yard line. They threw out in the flat to Willie Jackson. Jason Miska hemmed him up and had help from Chris Schilling and Mike Pelton. Gain of 2 or 3 yards. Let's see where they put the ball down at the 23. A 71-yard kick in the air by Terry Daniels, and it hit right a yard or so into the end zone and rolled all the way out of the end zone. So, Charlie, this field's not big enough for Terry's punt.
Well, last week he had a 67-yarder, and that was the longest of his career, but he kicked that one a mile. No roll on it, 71 yards.
Double slot to the right. There's one running back, that's Rhett. Werfel to throw on 2nd and 8. Pumps one out here, is complete to Doring. Doring speeds across the 30 out to the 35 and is knocked out of bounds along the 36-yard line. Chris Doring, the sophomore from Gainesville, hit by Del McGee. And Auburn really not able to deal with this punt and gun very well here in the opening period, as evidenced by Florida's 10-0 lead and that 13-yard gain by Chris Doring. Doring was a basketball star at P.K. Young High School in Gainesville, but he has turned into a Chris Collinsworth type of wide receiver for Steve Spurrier and the Florida Gator football team. First down play at the 36. Werfel with Rhett in the backfield. Werfel's going to throw. Pass is complete. That's Doring again, and he's belted out of bounds after a first down to the 47-yard line. It was Del McGee who made the hit. First down, Gators.
Steve Spurrier put 3 wide receivers to the far side of the field and left Chris Doring, who is listed as a tight end, but at 6'4" and 175 pounds, he very rarely lines up in a three-point stance. But he is their leading receiver and second in the SEC behind Bryce Hunter of Georgia coming into today's game.
It's like a Big Ben formation. 3 wideouts to the right and 1 to the left as Doring. Rhett is in the backfield. Here's a first down play. The delay to Rhett. Rhett to the 50. Rhett to the Auburn 45. Rhett dives inside the Auburn 40 and onto the 39. Anthony Harris upending Eric Rhett after he picks up about 14 yards and another Florida first down. And the Gators are just marching right through Auburn. which right now is powerless to stop them.
This series of downs is a very good indication of what Steve Spurrier likes to do offensively. He likes to set up the run with the pass, and they threw several passes early in this drive successfully. Auburn was playing back a little bit, and then they leave the ball with Eric Rett, and he has a lot of running room.
10-0 Florida, and they've got a new set of downs at the Auburn 40. Out of the eye, checking off his quarterback, Danny Werfel, and he's going to call timeout as he saw the play clock. Now he didn't get the timeout. He tried to call timeout before a delay of game flag was thrown, but he didn't make it. Al Ford, the referee, stepped in, threw the flag.
Offense 5 yards, still first down.
So it's 1st and 15 back at the Auburn 45. Werfel was up to the line trying to change his play, and he looked at the play clock and realized he was running out of time and tried to call a timeout, but they threw the flag before they acknowledged the time, the stoppage in play. So it's 1st and 15 Gators at the Auburn 45. The Tigers needing a break here. They haven't had anything but bad luck in the opening quarter. We are inside of 3 minutes to play in the first period. It's 10-0, and Florida appears a little confused and running out of time, and now they're going to have to spend another timeout. Florida couldn't get a playoff, so they'll burn a timeout. Werfel saw that the play clock was running down again. He called time. 2:43 in the opening period, 10-0 Gators. Auburn football continues in a moment.
Becoming a responsible adult is one of the most important lessons a college student can learn. This year, National Collegiate Alcohol Awareness Week celebrates its 10th anniversary on over 3,000 campuses nationwide. Based on the belief that education is the best approach to preventing alcohol abuse, this program helps students to help themselves make the right choices, to take personal responsibility in shaping their lives. Join Anheuser-Busch in supporting National Collegiate Alcohol Awareness Week, October 17th through 23rd.
Day in Auburn, Alabama, and the skies are particularly cloudy for the Auburn Tigers right now. They trail Florida 0-10. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Auburn Network.
This is where you hear the Tigers. WLWI-FM, Montgomery, War Eagle.
Danny Werfel off to his anticipated great start, 6 of 11 for 112 yards in the opening period. 2:43 remaining to be played. The Gators lead at 10-0, and they are 1st and 15 at Auburn's 45. Double slot to the right. That is 3 wide receivers to the wide side of the field, 1 to the near side, and Red in the backfield is the lone setback. Werfel retreating to throw. Pumps one over the middle. Got a man wide open. 45 to the 40 to the 35. Still on his feet to the 25. Still running. Red to the 20 to the 15. Cuts it back inside to the 10. Red is all the way down to the 7-yard line. Inside screen to Eric Red, and did you see him follow that cordon of blockers so beautifully? Finally brought down by Andre Miller and Terry Solomon. Auburn to gain of 38 yards.
Auburn had 4 down linemen, all of them in rushing on Danny Werfel. Danny Werfel just left it with Eric Rett. All the rest of the Tiger defenders were covering on the play. And when Danny Werfel threw the ball to Eric Rett, when he caught the ball, there wasn't a Tiger within 15 yards in any direction. And they had to converge on him near the goal line to keep Eric Rett from scoring.
Houston to the right. Willie Jackson to the short side of the left, and Willie goes in motion. Red is the setback. Werfel may be changing his play. Going to fake. Going to roll out. They're going to blow the play dead? I think they will. Werfel with the ball on his hip. They're going to blow the play dead as it never unfurled. Too much time, I think, on Florida is the call. But, you know, I never saw the flag fly. I think they just blew the whistle.
Before the ball was snapped, delay of the game on offense. 5 yards, still first.
That'll move it back to the 12, the Auburn 12, where it's 1st and goal for the Gators.
Well, that's been the only Achilles heel of the Florida offense so far. Their execution has been near flawless, but they have, on several occasions now, been called for delay of game and forced to take 1 timeout.
Houston, Jack Jackson, Willie Jackson, all wide. Wide to the left is Doring. Here's the 1st and goal at the Auburn 12. Tigers showing blitz. Werfel is going to give it to Rett. Rett is hit from behind, drags tacklers with him into the 11, maybe the 10. Randy Hart was the first man to get there. Hart hit him from behind with help from Jason Miska. And they dropped him at the 11, so it's a gain of a yard, and it's 2nd and goal from there. Auburn changing personnel defensively on virtually every snap of the ball.
Florida in the red zone. They've been inside the 20-yard line 25 times this year, have come away with points 23 times.
Read the setback. Here's the second down play for Werfel from the Auburn 11. Six-man rush. Werfel's going to throw in the end zone. Pass is intercepted. Wide open at the 10, to the 15, to the 20. He's at the 30. He's at the 40. Giving chase as Werfel won't catch him. To the 30, to the 20, to the 10. He is gone. 95 yards. Touchdown, Auburn! Calvin Jackson.
He's Auburn's best one-on-one cover man, and Jim, he saw that play coming. Danny Werfel, if there's been any default or any fault I could say in his play so far this season, it's been the fact that he's been intercepted. He threw it out thinking that Willie Jackson was going to be there. Auburn had two defenders actually on the play. Calvin Jackson, who had 5 passes broken up last week against Todd Jordan and Mississippi State, just stepped in, and it was clear sailing. Danny Werfel couldn't catch him, and Auburn just that quickly back in the ball game because of a Florida turnover. That's what's killed Florida, and Auburn's taking advantage of it. A tremendous defensive play by Calvin Jackson.
You talk about igniting a crowd. They're going crazy in Auburn now. Etheridge to kick out of Carter's hole. Waiting for Brinsfield's snap. The kick is away. Kick is good. Brand new ball game. Don't go away. Stay with us. 55 seconds in the opening period. A 95-yard interception and touchdown return. Stay tuned. Right now, let's take timeout.
Wells Printing, a name that has meant quality printing and unparalleled service since 1947. Books, publications, brochures, business forms, color printing. Wells Printing does it all. Plus, Wells Printing is locally owned and operated, so you know you're dealing with hometown people who understand your printing needs and can provide you with quick turnaround on any job you've got. Wells Printing, 6030 Perimeter Parkway, just off the Troy Highway, or call 281-3449.
95 yards by little Calvin Jackson, a native Floridian, and he missed by only 3 yards, the all-time record for the longest touchdown interception return that dates all the way back to 1947 by John Liptak. Boy, you talk about a turnaround, that was it. It ignited the crowd, and I'll bet you it ignites the Auburn defense. Auburn kicking off. Jack Jackson, Harrison, Houston are deep. Going deep to Houston, backpedaling all the way to the baseline of the end zone. He won't bother to bring that one out, and Florida will be 1st and 10 at the 20. Charlie, what a turnaround.
Exactly what Auburn needed. Florida on their 3rd drive of the ball game. 1st drive, they get a field goal. 2nd drive, they get the long touchdown pass to Jack Jackson. And then on the 3rd drive, in the shadows of the Auburn goal line, with a 10-0 lead, Calvin Jackson, who breaks on the ball better than any defensive back that I can remember in recent Auburn history, makes a tremendous individual play, and Brian Robinson escorted him down the sideline, and Danny Werfel could not catch him. Remember, Danny Werfel's a redshirt freshman, and he hasn't had a pass return for a touchdown like that.
Slot formation right for the Gators. Here's a 1st down play at their 20. Werfel has Rhett in the backfield. He's going to give it to Rhett, looking for room. Nothing there. They bottle him up, and down he goes at the line of scrimmage. Whitehead hit him first and had help from Primus. So, yes, the defense showing the effects of just what that Calvin Jackson interception and return for a touchdown can do, because that time Eric Redd had very little in the way of running room. He got a yard to the 21. 2nd and 9. And again, Auburn changing personnel on every snap of the ball defensively. Here's Werfel, brings his team up. Over the ball is Grant Couch, the center. 2 setbacks this time, 2 wide receivers. Auburn with a 4-3 alignment. Werfel dropping back to throw. Werfel pumps. He fires out in the flat. Got a man at the 25, and he's hauled in at the 26-yard line. Kevin Randolph hit by Chris Schelling, as it appeared they had Werfel hemmed in for a sack, but he threw just as he was being knocked off his feet by Gary Walker. Good hustle, though, and a lot of pressure on Danny Werfel. That will end the 1st quarter of play. It's been full of fireworks. Florida 10, Auburn 7. Stand by. Auburn football continues in a moment. Start the second quarter, needing 4 yards on third down from their 26. Back to throw Werfel. Werfel looking. Over the middle, pass is caught, but he won't make his first down. He's down at the 29. Chris Doring slung down by Chris Schelling. Nice defensive play by Chris Schelling, as Doring was a little off balance when he caught that ball. Tried to do a little pirouette, but Schelling slung him down at the 29, a yard short of a 1st and 10. So Florida to punt for the first time today.
And the crowd is really responding to that Auburn defensive stand. Now Shane Edge, who is tied with our punter, Terry Daniel, for the nation's leading punter, will punt the ball for Florida.
But their net punting statistics are much, much better than Auburn's. They have not had any long returns as Auburn has this year, a couple of times. Edge waits at his 15, kicking to Thomas Bailey. And there it goes. It's a beauty. Bailey backpedaling all the way to the 16, looking for a block. Bailey racing to this near side, cuts it back inside at the 20, and he's out to the 25. Nice return by Bailey. Auburn football continues in a moment.
Have you heard about First Alabama's new collegiate checking?
What's the deal?
No monthly service charge. Your first check order is free. And the account was designed by college students just like us.
Great, but I really need an ATM card.
You get a free Right card, and there's no charge at Right Place banking machine.
Okay, how much?
Nothing the first year. If you have a parent who banks with First Alabama, and then a low annual fee. You'll even get a MasterCard or Visa if you qualify.
Wow, with so much covered, collegiate checking sounds like just what I need.
Check it out at any First Alabama bank.
Member FDIC.
Paul Ellen back at Auburn Network Control, checking the Dixie Crystal Sugar scoreboard. Southeastern Conference play. Ole Miss leading Auburn's next opponent, Arkansas, 9-0 as they played late in the third quarter. Also, Georgia coming from behind. They now lead Vanderbilt 10-3 as they go into second quarter action in Nashville. Let's go back to Jordan-Hare. Jim and Charlie.
Auburn with a 1st and 10 at the Tigers' 25. Shane Edge booted that ball 56 yards. Bailey returned it 9. That's better than Florida normally does as terms of what they allow. Thomas Bailey looked like the Thomas Bailey of old on that particular return. He gives Auburn good field position, and let's see if the defense can get something done, the offense rather can get something done here. Wideouts left and right for Stan White. Here's motion by Frank Sanders. Back to the near side. White fakes the pitch, rolls out on the bootleg, pump fakes, he's in trouble, does his spin, and comes across the 25 and out to the 29. Stan was in all kinds of trouble. He had pursuit from Ed Robinson, who had him trapped out on the flank, and he did a little pirouette and darted out to the 29. That's a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6. Nice play by Stan.
Andy Fuller was open in the middle of the field, but Stan was trying to find Frank Sanders. Frank was fairly well covered, and Stan did a great job to make a positive play out of what could have been a loss.
We've got a report from Quentin Riggins after this next play. White looks at his offense. The ball at the left hash mark. The backs are in the eye. There's the play fake. He's in trouble. He throws behind the line. Complete. Bostic broke the tackle 30, 35. He's at the 40. He puts his way across the 45 and barrels out to the 48-yard line. Ben Hanks on the tackle. That's a pickup of 19 and a first down by James Bostic on that screen pass from Stan White. Let's go down to Quentin Riggins on the sideline.
Jim, the Auburn coaching staff just got a huge shock right before the last series. Stephen Davis went down after his last reception. They initially thought it was a knee injury, but it's a sprained ankle. He should return before the game is over with.
He took a hard shot when he was knocked out of bounds. Hopefully he'll be okay. But Bostic got the job done that time with a long pass and run. White changing his play at the line of scrimmage. Has him in the eye. 1st and 10 play at the 48. Toss sweep to Bostic. James trying to get outside. He broke a tackle, and he bulls his way up to near midfield. Couple of yards for Bostic. Knocked off his feet by Dexter Daniel right at the midfield stripe with help from Ellis Johnson of the Gators. Well, again, see if they don't put him down right there just across the 49. Let's give him a yard.
You can see as the Florida defense approaches the football when Auburn's about to make the snap, their defense is expecting run, and they want to react to the pass. They're going to set for the run and react to the pass. So Auburn should be able to pass the ball successfully against the Gators if Stan can get enough time.
10-3 Florida. Auburn operating from the shotgun, 2nd and 9 at their 49. White rolls out, throws on the run, complete. Bailey at the 42. Bailey down the sideline is out of bounds at the 37. Knocked out by Eddie Lake. Out of the Florida secondary. It's a gain of 9 and an Auburn first down.
Well-executed play. Stan White in a rolling pocket out of the shotgun, takes the snap, rolls to his left, and throws the ball nicely to Thomas Bailey, who just stopped on a comeback route on the sideline, threw it to him so that he could run with the ball after the catch, which is so important.
Auburn moving the football on this Gator defense. 12 minutes in the opening period. The Gators lead it 10-7. Auburn at the Florida 37 with a new set of downs. Draw play, busted play. Bostic got it. He was hemmed in, and he'll lose yardage. Back to the 40-yard line. White and Bostic collided on that play, and Kevin Carter came in to take advantage of it, and it's going to cost Auburn about 3 yards back to the Florida 40. William Gaines helped out on the tackle of Bostic, who was down right there at the Florida 40-yard line, so it'll be 2nd and 13 to go.
Well, a bit of confusion. Both guards, the tight guard and the strong guard, pulled to the left. Stan had the ball ready for James Bostic to run to the left, but James ran to the right. A little bit of confusion in the backfield.
Ramon Malcolm checks in for Auburn. He's out of Ruston, Louisiana, a heralded running back. Set out last year, a redshirt year. Out of the shotgun. White forced out of the pocket. Pulled down from behind. Henry McMillan on the tackle as White darted out of the pocket and had some open field in front of him, but McMillan, the junior out of Folkestone, Georgia, reached out and grabbed him by an ankle and pulled him down.
And Florida had 4 defensive linemen and 1 linebacker kind of hanging around in the area, and the linebacker is the one that made the tackle. Stan avoided the 4 defensive linemen but couldn't avoid the tackle of the linebacker. Sets Auburn up in a 3rd down and 14 on the 40-yard line of Florida.
No gain on the loss of, well, no loss, no gain. Ball down at the 40. It'll be 3rd and 13 when play resumes. Right now, Florida wants timeout. Timeout on the field, 10:44 in the opening half. Florida 10, Auburn 7. Let's take timeout.
America's favorite heavy-duty motor oil, Shell Rotelity Multigrade with XLA, available at Taylor Petroleum. Shell's patented extended life additives do a better job of controlling harmful engine deposits. In the long run, an engine running on Rotelity with XLA stays cleaner and lasts longer than an engine running on other heavy-duty motor oils. So you get better starts in cold weather and overall improved fuel economy. It's no wonder Shell Rotelity with XLA is the heavy-duty oil truckers swear by. Ask for Rotelity with XLA at Taylor Petroleum, 262-2875. Paul Ellen back at Auburn Network Control, checking the Dixie Crystal Sugar scoreboard. Nebraska playing their first competitive game of the year as they take on undefeated Kansas State, and they go to second quarter action. Nebraska leading 14-7 over K-State. Big game for Kansas State. Now let's go back to another big game. Jim and Charlie at Jordan-Hare.
It'll be 3rd and 13 at the Gator 40-yard line. Charlie, Ramon Malcolm is in the ball game. Stephen Davis went down with that ankle injury, as we heard Quentin report earlier, and now they've got Malcolm in. 6'3", 222 out of Ruston, Louisiana. Has great ability, but he hasn't seen a lot of playing time. Out of the shotgun, White throws, pass is caught by Bailey down at the 20-yard line. First down, Auburn. White gunned a bullet to Bailey for 20 yards. Knocked off his feet by Michael Gilmore. Auburn's 1st and 10 at the Gator 20.
What a beautiful pass. Nothing but a seam route. Thomas Bailey on the left side just runs a short post route, and Stan drills the ball to him in front of both Michael Gilmore and the deep safety on that play. I think it may have been Darren Hambry.
Sean Carter, Frank Sanders are now the wide receivers. Carter to the near side, Sanders to the right or the wide side of the field. The backs are in the eye. Bostic's the tailback. The fake to Bostic. White rolls out looking. White's going to cut it inside, trying to find some room. Won't find any. He'll go down at the 20, maybe the 19. Carter and Robinson would not be fooled by Stan White as he tried to run a little fake off the bootleg and called his own number. But I tell you, those Gator linebackers and the defensive players, Charlie, are just so quick and athletic. It's going to be hard to get them out of position.
You know, and one of the interesting things about Florida, 75 of their 86 scholarship players are from the state of Florida. 87% of their roster. No junior college transfer players, which is highly unusual.
2nd and we'll say 10 at the Gator 20. Here's White out of the shotgun. Rolls left. White looking, fires. Pass caught down at the 10 by Sanders. Sanders dragging tacklers with him inside the 10 all the way to the 8-yard line. Frank Sanders, Auburn's top receiver. That's good for 12 yards. It'll be first and goal. Lake and Wright on the tackle down near the 9.
And again, a well-thrown football. And Frank Sanders did an intelligent thing. He came back to the football. He didn't let the Florida defender on the play, Eddie Lake, make a break for the football. He came back to the quarterback on the curl route, enabled him to catch the football, and then he wouldn't be tackled. It took about 3 Gators to bring him down, and that shows that Florida is vulnerable to the pass, a little better against the run than they are the pass.
Gaucher and Bailey are now the wide receivers. Fuller, the tight end, lines up on the right side. The setbacks are in the eye. The toss sweep to Bostic. James looking for a hole. Found one. He's at the 5. He's into the 2. Well done by Bostic. He cut outside, then darted back inside behind a good block from Gandy and Taylor, and was brought down by Daniels and Hamrick at the Gator 2 or 3. Call it the 2. Second and goal from there.
That was a super cut by James Bostic. He read his blockers well, and he didn't follow the play onto the outside because Florida over-pursued the play. The speed on defense hurt Florida on that play. James was able to cut up and find some running room.
Willie Gaucher, the lone wide receiver. Auburn goes with a double tight end set. Andy Fuller and Jesse McCovery. Bostic and Richardson, the setbacks in the eye. Fake to Bostic. White rolls out. White's going to dart into the end zone on the bootleg. Touchdown, Auburn! Stan White on second and goal from the 2. Fake the pitch to Bostic going right. Rolled back to his left. Looking for a receiver. Saw the field open up and cut inside a would-be tackler at the 1-yard line. And scores the go-ahead touchdown.
The fake toss sweep took the right end. Mark Campbell out of the play. He went to the inside. Let Stan get around the containment to the outside. And then number 11, Ben Hanks, slipped down when Stan broke on the play. That's an intelligent play not to throw it. Pull it down and run it and get the 6 points.
Point after touchdown is away by Etheridge. It is good. And Auburn has its first lead. Timeout on the field. Auburn 14, Florida 10. Auburn football continues in a moment.
Food World has given millions of dollars worth of Apple computers to local schools.
If I had my way, I would have 2 computers in each classroom.
And we'll be giving away even more this year. Just save our special red receipts. When your child's school collects enough, they can redeem them for computers, software, and other equipment.
People out there, please save up your receipts because they'll add up to a computer.
Apples for students from Food World. It's back now through January 25th.
That particular drive, just what the doctor ordered for Auburn, 75 yards in a dozen plays, and just as importantly, Charlie, they used up 5 minutes and 49 seconds.
And on that 12-play drive, Stan White, 5 out of 5 for 50 yards. That's a terrific drive by the senior quarterback.
Stay tuned at halftime for the Health South halftime report. Paul Ellen and Auburn Network Control will have the scores and highlights as well as all the statistics. 14-10, Auburn leads for the first time with 8:18 left in the opening period. Brian Karkoska kicking to Jack Jackson and Harrison Houston. This one is going to be rolling down the field. It's going to be retrieved by Jackson at the 10. Heads to the middle of the field looking for a block. He is pulled down at the 20-yard line. Joe Frazier got down there. Frazier making the tackle in the open field. Joe Frazier, the converted fullback who moved this week because of an injury to the linebacker spot, actually cut his teeth playing defense at Lanier High School in Montgomery, and he was in there on that kickoff team and got the tackle at the 20.
And I know Wayne Hall liked the way that Joe Frazier sifted through that wedge, the wedge blocking by the Florida return team. Joe Frazier made the tackle single-handedly.
Ace Atkins hustling into the ball game at a defensive end. Auburn trying to get lined up. Werfel with one setback. 4 wide receivers, 3 to one side and 1 to this near side. He throws. That one is caught at the 25, and up to the 26 or 27 is Chris Doring. Making the stop is Anthony Harris. Harris at the 26 or 27 pulled Doring down. They love to throw to Doring. That's a gain of 7, and it's 2nd and 3.
And Auburn may be giving Doring a little bit too much room. He's 6'4", 175 pounds, has 6 touchdown catches, but it's not really because of his speed. It's because he's very deceptive and run good routes. They need to cover Doring a little bit closer. He's a possession-type receiver.
Werfel brings him up and changes his play at the line of scrimmage. He's got Rhett in the backfield behind him. He's going to give it to Eric Rhett. Rhett running to the outside, turning the corner at the 30. He is hit at the 34 and belted out of bounds at the 35-yard line by Chris Schelling. It'll be a Florida first down, but the Gators have a man down and shaken up on the play. I believe it's Willie Jackson. Willie Jackson, their fine wide receiver, the senior out of Gainesville, is obviously shaken up on the play. But Florida picks up a nice gain and a first down to their 36. First and 10 to go when we return. 7:28, timeout on the field. Let's take timeout.
Looking for excitement? Say you want entertainment in high gear? Well, we've got it at Victory Lap. We're running for the gold every Monday through Saturday. You've never seen winning this fast. Watch as the Greyhounds streak to the finish, bringing home a win every race. You could be the next lucky winner. Greyhound Racing, come and get it at Victory Lap. Exit 22 of I-85 in Shorter, Alabama. Call for clubhouse reservations, 1-800-688-2WIN. Admission 19 and over.
They're continuing to look after Willie Jackson, 6'1", senior, 195-pounder out of Young High School in Gainesville. And he is being helped to his feet and appears to be a little groggy as the Florida training staff will help him to the sideline. Florida has just logged its 9th first down of this first half, 7:28 to go, and Auburn has its first lead at 14-10. The Tigers, the beneficiary of a now what is called a 96-yard touchdown return of an interception by Calvin Jackson, and they followed that with a long touchdown drive that consumed almost 6 minutes on the clock, and they've got the lead 14-10. Here come the Gators. Werfel to throw. Werfel's going to go long down the middle of the field. Got Jackson out there, but he can't get it. Down at the 26-yard line. Jack Jackson racing for the ball that was a little overthrown. Brian Robinson was covering on the play. Let's go down to Quentin on the sideline.
Jim, I don't know if I explained the dime and nickel that Auburn's running, but what they're doing on nickel, they're taking out Jason Miska, linebacker, bringing in Dale McGee to play corner. When they run dime, they take out Terry Solomon and Jason Miska and bring in Mike Peeler.
Second and 10 at the 36. One running back. Triple slot to the right. Here's Werfel. He's going to give it to Rhett. Rhett bounces off. One man broke the tackle. 40. Rhett in the open field. 45 to the 50. He's at the 45 to the 40. The 35 to the 30. He is finally out of bounds down at the Auburn 26-yard line, and it looked like they had him dead to rights back at the line of scrimmage. Anthony Harris hit him after a gain of 38 yards. Otis Mounds drove him out of bounds, but Harris let him slip through after he had him stopped him cold, it appeared, back along the line of scrimmage.
Auburn really had that play defended well. Anthony Harris had a good shot at Eric Rhett. That just shows you why Eric Rhett is the leading runner in the Southeastern Conference with a lot of great backs.
Florida undaunted by Auburn's long touchdown drive. They marched right back deep into Auburn land. Werfel calling his play. The one setback is Rhett. Wide outs to both sides. Back to throw. Werfel looking in the end zone. Throwing. Pass incomplete. Jack Jackson, the intended receiver. Calvin Jackson on the coverage for Auburn.
You know, I don't know if people who are in the stands can realize what a great play Calvin Jackson just made. He's one-on-one with Jack Jackson by himself, and when the ball was thrown, Calvin Jackson allowed the Florida receiver to just run into him, and he stayed between the football and the Florida defender. You cannot coach that play any better.
Doring is to the left, and they've got triple wide outs to this wide side or right. The ball at the left hash mark, Florida moving left to right. Werfel with one setback. Throwing. Pass is incomplete down at the 15. Trying to flag it down was Chris Doring. Calvin Jackson covering on the play down at the Auburn 15. Werfel on the day, 10 out of 18, 164 yards. Rhett has already rushed 475. 7:01 in the opening half. It's Auburn 14 and Florida 10. The Gators needing a first down at the Auburn 26. Harrison Houston, Jack Jackson, Willie Jackson, and Aubrey Hill. All in at wide receiver. There are no running backs. Auburn lining up defensively. Four-man front. Florida shows you all kinds of looks. Werfel to throw. Werfel fires. Pass caught by Doring. Down he goes at the 20-yard line. Schilling hit him, and that'll be short of a first down by about 4 yards. Chris Schilling brought him down. A good open field tackle by Schilling.
That's about as well as you can defend Chris Doering. He started on the right side, just came across the middle of the field, had about a step on Chris Schilling, but as soon as he caught it, Chris knocked him to the ground. And now Judd Davis, who was 6 of 7 before the ball game, has already got a field goal, so he's 7 out of 8 on the year.
The junior out of Ocala will kick from Shane Edges Hold. Ball at the left hash mark. 36-yard effort. The kick is on its way. It is up. It is good. We have timeout at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Auburn 14, Florida 13. Looks like this one's going right down to the wire. 6:18 in the opening half. Stand by. Auburn football continues in a moment.
Head to your nearby John Deere dealer today. Pick out the walk-behind, rider, or lawn and garden tractor you've always dreamed of. Then put just 10% down. With approved John Deere credit, it's yours without any monthly payments or finance charges until March 1994. It's our Mow Now, Pay Later program. If you've been putting off getting a John Deere, now's the time. Sooner you buy, longer you'll have till your first payment. See your John Deere dealer today for details.
See your Alabama John Deere dealer. Nothing runs like a deer.
Paul Ellen back at Auburn Network Control, checking the Dixie Crystal Sugar scoreboard. Big game up at Penn State, and Michigan holds on to a lead with 8.5 minutes to go. It's Michigan 14, Penn State 13. The Georgia offense back to life today as they play early second quarter. Georgia leads Vandy 17-3. Now let's go back to Jordan-Hare. Jim and Charlie.
Harold Morrow has checked in. He's been injured the last couple of weeks. A sophomore out of Maplesville. He's one of the deep men, along with Thomas Bailey. Remember that Stephen Davis went down with an ankle injury. There's the kick by Davis. At the goal line, Bailey. Bailey, 5, 10, 15. Straight up the middle, across the 20, and hurdles out to the 23. Bailey, a return of 23 yards. And Auburn is first and 10 from there with 6:12 remaining in the opening half and a 1-point lead, 14-13.
Well, the Auburn defense bent a little bit on the last drive, but they didn't break. They only gave up the field goal to Florida, and that's a little bit of a moral victory. Auburn had a 4-point lead, 14-10, before that drive started. Still with the 1-point lead, 14-13. So the Auburn offense can certainly do a lot for its own cause with 6 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
They say Bailey was down at the 22, so that's where Auburn puts it in play. First and 10. White loads up to shotgun. Wide outs to both sides. Wing back right. White shovel pass. Fullback Richardson. Nowhere to go. Florida was all over Tony Richardson. Barnard, a backup defensive tackle, was the first man to get to him and stopped him maybe for a loss. Let's see where they put it. No gain, right at the 22. So that whoopee pass or shovel pass certainly misfired that time. And now big number 48 trots onto the field. Stephen Davis back in the ball game. He had that ankle injury.
And he was noticeably limping, Jim. Hopefully that won't hurt his speed, because that's something that you really can't replace, is that speed.
Again from the shotgun, second and 10. White's going to throw. Pass is almost intercepted. He overthrew Davis, who hesitated up at the 25 coming across, and a Florida defender, Ben Hanks, almost picked it off. Let's pause 10 seconds for our identification. This is the Auburn Network.
100,000 watts of War Eagle. WLWI-FM, Montgomery.
Auburn in need of a first down. They're third and 10 at their 22. Wide outs to both sides from the shotgun. Florida in the 4-3. White taking the snap from Robeek. White's in trouble. He throws. Pass is incomplete. Behind the line, intended for Tony Richardson. Richardson had nowhere to go if he caught the ball because Darren Hambrick was all over him. Covered it well, and Auburn will be 3 downs and out. They'll kick it away to Florida. Larry Kennedy waits for the punt from Terry Daniels. 5:24 in the opening period. Auburn 14 and Florida 13.
Kennedy's averaging about 10 yards per punt return. Had a long of 34 yards against Arkansas State in the first ball game, and he has not had one that has exceeded that since.
Daniel had a career-high 71-yard kick earlier in the ball game. Florida indicates they're going for it. They've got 9 men at the line of scrimmage. Daniel inside the 10. A high snap, but he pulls it in and he boots it out. It's an end-over-end kick to Kennedy. Kennedy back at the 35 has it, trying to pick up a block. He is going down at the 41. Let's take timeout on the field. Let's take timeout.
If you're tired of fly-by-night service companies that don't stand behind their work, call your local Bryant dealer, Wiggins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Wiggins has been in business since 1973, and they specialize in plumbing, heating, and air conditioning repairs and installations. And Wiggins can help you get the gas advantage with an energy-efficient natural gas furnace. So get it done right the first time. Call Jay Wiggins at Wiggins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, your local Bryant dealer, at 834-3224.
Werfel from his 41 on first down. Werfel's got all day to throw, and he's going for broke down the middle of the field. Pass is going to be caught and then dropped. Incomplete inside the Auburn 20. Darrell Frazier, the intended receiver, had it in his hands and had the step on the Auburn defender, Chris Schelling, and Otis Mounds was helping out. Had he caught that one, he might have gone.
Now, Darrell Frazier is one of the fastest Gators. He's only caught 6 passes. One of them went for a touchdown. He was a walk-on, Jim. He runs sprints on the Florida track team, and he is some kind of a speed merchant.
Here's Auburn in the 4-3 alignment. Werfel, 2nd and 10 at his 41. Auburn by a point, 14-13. Werfel throws. Pass over the middle is caught by Doring. 50, 45. Doring to the 40 and hit from behind and finally dropped at the Auburn 36. Jackson hit him. Calvin Jackson knocked him off his feet. That's 23 yards and a first down. Boy, they keep that pressure on, don't they?
And again, Chris Doring runs some of the short possession-type routes, and Auburn's going to have to cover him a little bit more closely man-to-man.
Willie Whitehead for Andre Miller defensively. Florida 1st and 10 from the Auburn 36. Here's Werfel. Slot formation right. Could be changing his play. Reds in the backfield, the lone setback. Werfel to throw, a short drop, and his pass is incomplete down at the Auburn 30. Harrison Houston, I think, was the intended receiver, but he had Jack Jackson down there as well. That one fell incomplete. Good coverage by Auburn's Chris Schelling, and they are getting a workout, those defensive backs.
Well, we knew that coming in. The Auburn defensive backs knew they were going to get this type of a workout. Auburn is being as tested as any secondary could be tested in college football. This is some kind of passing attack.
That line's got to get a better rush on Werfel. He's got too much time to throw. Here's the 2nd and 10 at the Tiger 36. Werfel again changing his play. Slot formation to the right, 3 wide receivers. Werfel, a short drop. Werfel's going to throw to the far side to Doring, and it's incomplete. He was double covered down that far sideline by Calvin Jackson and Brian Robinson, and the pass was well overthrown by Werfel, who may have wasted that one into the sidelines.
And again, that's great coverage by Calvin Jackson. You just can't say enough about Calvin Jackson. After running a 96-yard touchdown interception back, he is still in the ball game and has not been given a breather, and he is visibly a little bit tired. Auburn may have to get somebody in there and give him a break.
Now they lift Rhett, so they have no running backs. They've got trips formation. Wideouts to this side, 2 wideouts to the left. Nobody in the backfield behind Werfel, who wants to throw on 3rd and 10. His pass out in the flat, complete to the 30. Jackson, did he get his first down? Yes, he did, as he rolled inside the 25 to the 24. Willie Jackson had good presence of mind. He was hit behind the first down marker by Anthony Harris and Del McGee, but he somehow kept his feet, and using his empty hand as a means of balance, he was able to roll inside to the 24 and get that 1st and 10. 4:11, 4:10, 4:09 left in the first half. Florida trailing by a point, 14-13 to Auburn, and the Gators on the move once again. Danny Werfel's going to give it to Rhett. Got some room. 20, 15, 10. He'll go all the way. Touchdown, Eric Rhett. Nobody laid a hand on him as he raced for 24 yards. That delay caught Auburn asleep.
And that's the draw play that Florida likes to use so effectively after they've completed a couple of passes. Florida had just completed the pass to Willie Jackson for the first down, and Auburn a little bit on its heels expecting pass, and that's what Steve Spurrier likes to do. He likes to set up his run by first establishing the pass, and he did it again on that series. Eric Rhett with the delay for the touchdown.
Davis will add the point after as Florida has surged in front, 19-14. Shane Edge is the holder. 3:55 in the first half. There's a kick away by Davis. His kick is good. So there's timeout on the field. Florida leads 20-14. Auburn football continues in a moment.
Alabama Power.
Are you an energy expert?
Why, yes.
My heating system is on its last leg. Would a heat pump save me money?
Yes, ma'am. A heat pump saves you money winter and summer.
But I hear they're not as warm as my system.
Oh, staying warm is no problem with a heat pump. It just works differently than other systems. A heat pump provides constant, comfortable temperatures, not sudden blasts of hot, dry air and noise.
That works for me. I'm glad I got the facts.
Don't be fooled by a lot of hot air. Call the energy experts at Alabama Power, and let's talk heat pumps.
Auburn Tiger football is brought to you in part by Health South, the official sports medicine for Auburn athletics and SEC championships.
Florida back on top, 20-14 in a first half that's been really full of fireworks. A 24-yard touchdown run by tailback Eric Rett, who now has gone over the 100-yard mark, as he has in every Florida game this year. Quite a ball player. Auburn's got Bailey on the near side, Morrow on the far side, as Davis kicks off for the Gators. It's going to be Bailey at the 5. Thomas Bailey to the 10, 15, heads to this near side, races across the 20, 25, the 30, and goes out of bounds up at the 35-yard line. It was Shane Edge, the punter by trade, who was in there on that kickoff team, and he forced him out of bounds along the near sideline. 1st and 10 Auburn at the 35, and the offense needs to chalk up a couple of first downs here.
Florida lost one of their field goal kickers, and he was their kickoff man, and Shane Edge is showing his versatility. Not only is he one of the best in the nation at punting, but also can kick the ball soccer style and kick it fairly deep. Auburn now 1st and 10 on its own 35, trailing 20-14.
Tight end Andy Fuller lines up on the right. Bostic and Richardson the setbacks. Wide outs to both sides, Bailey and Sanders. Short drop by White, and he throws, and it's underthrown to Bailey at the 40-yard line. White was feeling the pressure of the Florida rush, and he had to unload prematurely, and that one skipped before it got to Bailey up at the Auburn 40. It would have been a short gain at best, as Thomas was down on both knees waiting for that ball. 2nd and 10 at the 35 for Auburn. 3:43 in the first half. Florida 20, Auburn 14. Florida struck first, led 10-0 before Auburn had a long interception return for a touchdown, and then ground out a long touchdown drive. The Gators fought back, and they've grabbed the lead as White on first down throws to Richardson. The screen pass, short gain up to the 39 for Tony. Richardson hit and dragged off his feet by Kevin Carter of Florida. That's a gain of 4, and it'll be 3rd and 6 at the Auburn 39. At halftime, we'll have the Health South halftime report. Paul Ellen and Auburn Network Control with scores and highlights and halftime statistics. 3rd down and 6, Charlie.
Every time that Stan's throwing the football, he's got one of the Gators in his face. The Auburn offensive line's got to do a little bit better job against that front 4 of Florida.
Sanders to the right. Here's Carter to the left. White out of the shotgun. And a timeout is called by Auburn. Before the play is run, Auburn calls time at 3:02 in the first half, trailing the Gators 20-14. Let's take timeout.
When Andy Griffith called someone, he just picked up the phone. Sarah came on the line, and she made all Andy's calls for him. Good old Sarah's long gone, but getting things done with one call is still easy. Simply call Comtex International. For telephone systems, voicemail, and South Central Bell services, Comtex can handle it all, just like Sarah did for Andy. So the next time you want to get something done in this complex world of communications, simply call Comtex, 271-4000.
Little unusual, Charlie. Auburn was up to the line of scrimmage, lined up and ready to run a play, and suddenly called time, and they had plenty of time on the play clock. What do you suppose the timeout was all about?
Well, I'm not sure. There must have been a little bit of confusion as far as alignment or personnel that was in the ball game, but Auburn has 3rd and 5. Ball's on their own 40-yard line, just shy of the 40-yard line. It's got to get to about the 45 for the first down. 3 minutes and 2 seconds remaining in the half. Auburn trailing by 6 points. Let's see what Stan White can do.
Possession play. Wide outs to both sides. White takes the long snap from Robique. White's in trouble. He's going down. He is sacked unceremoniously by big William Gaines, the senior defensive tackle from Jackson, Mississippi. That's a loss of about 6-7 yards.
And those are 4 Gators getting to Stan, being blocked by 5 Auburn offensive linemen. And they've got to find some way to keep that pressure off Stan, because he continuously through this first half, when he's throwing the football, is either getting knocked to the ground or having to hurry his throw.
4th and 12. Harry Daniels needs one of those 70-yard kicks. He'll be punting to Larry Kennedy. Clock is on the move. Daniels takes the snap. Plenty of time, and he boots it out. It's a wobbly kick. Not long for Terry by his standards. Kennedy catches it, and he goes down. Joe Frazier got him down at the 31-yard line as soon as he caught the ball. Good coverage as we check in with Auburn Network Control.
All right, Jim, checking the Dixie Crystal Sugar scoreboard. Wake Forest bidding to upset Clemson with 3.5 left. They lead 20-16. Coming up at halftime on the Health South Halftime Report, we'll get you audio highlights of the Auburn-Florida game, plus all the scores from around the country. That's coming up in just a few moments. Now back we go to Jordan-Hare, Jim, and Charlie.
At the Florida 32, a 1st and 10 play for the Gators. Quarterback Danny Werfel sets his offense. 3 wideouts left and 1 to the right. Setback is Rhett. Rhett's going to get the call with the running room. 35. Rhett to the 40. Rhett to the 45. And he barrels out to the 49-yard line. Harris and Robinson making the stop for Auburn. But it's a long gain of 17 yards and a first down. Florida just relentless in this offensive pressure, and they did a great job blocking at the point of attack.
Well, for some reason, Willie Whitehead, who was the defensive end on this left side, went to the inside. No containment to the outside and allowed Eric Rhett just to bounce out. That's the same play they scored on. Unless Auburn makes an adjustment, they'll just continue to run that.
We show Rhett now with 116 yards in the first half alone. We're inside of 2 minutes. Toss sweep Rhett, running left, looking for room. Rhett, as they string out the play, is going to be upended and dropped at the Auburn 47. Otis Mounds came up to make the tackle. Eric Rhett upended after a gain of about 4. Mounds out of the secondary, and Auburn did a good job of extending that play.
Yeah, Florida did not get out of bounds, so the clock's running 1:29. They have 2 timeouts, so they have plenty of ability to stop the clock. Danny Werfel now in Auburn territory, and you may see very soon him try to go deep.
They've got that good kicker, too. 2nd and 6. Sorolla Palmer is in the ball game for the Gators as a wide receiver, and Florida's going to use one of those timeouts as we're down to 1:11 in the first half. Florida calling time, leading 20-14. Auburn football continues in a moment.
Karen Bourgeois Price, class of 79.
Jim Pitt, 1986.
Auburn University, her strength, her people, their ability to dream dreams, and their spirit that makes those dreams come true.
Chris Sawyer,
First Alabama, our strength, more than 5,000 employees in over 200 locations across the Southeast, all with the spirit and desire to make your financial dreams come true. War Eagle from First Alabama Bank, member FDIC.
2nd and 6 for the Gators. They spent a timeout unwisely, it would seem, Charlie. They had 2 left, and they were ready to run a play, and all of a sudden they called time.
Well, Eric Rhett got about 4 yards on first down, down to about the Auburn 47-yard line. He didn't get out of bounds, and so the play clock, or the time clock, was not stopped. It was around 1:29, but they let it run all the way down to 1:11, and then just simply called a timeout. Not very good usage of the timeouts by Steve Spurrier.
Now they move Sorolla Palmer to tailback. They've got Eric Rhett at fullback. They send Palmer in motion back to the left. 2nd and 6 play. Werfel retreating to throw. Has plenty of time down that far sideline. Looking, throwing, pass incomplete for Rhett. Flag down back upfield. Terry Solomon was step for step with Rhett and did a good job down that far sideline, but let's look at this penalty. It was Sorolla Palmer, not Rhett, and the penalty's going against Florida, apparently.
And that's great coverage by Terry Solomon. Sorolla Palmer, by trade, is a wide receiver. He ran out of motion from that tailback position. He went all the way to the sideline, and Jim, they just tried to isolate him on Terry Solomon in a fly route deep.
Motion man turned upfield too quick. The penalty is declined. Got 3rd down.
That was Sorolla Palmer, who turned up prematurely before the ball was snapped. So it's 3rd and 6 as Auburn declines that penalty. Florida with the ball at the Auburn 47 and 1:04 left in the opening half. The Gators lead by 6, 20-14. There's that wild-looking formation with 5 wide receivers. Actually 6 as they break the tight end out here to the right. Nobody behind Werfel. The crowd rising. Play clock running down. 2 seconds. Blitz is on. Pass to Houston is caught. Houston at the 35. Houston to the 30. And he falls into about the 26-yard line. Brian Robinson on the tackle. And Werfel looked as though he was running out of time on the play clock, but Houston sprinting across the middle, pulled that one in, broke a tackle after the catch and raced for about 26 yards deep to the Auburn 26. Florida goes now with a no-huddle attack. No running backs. 1st and 10 play Werfel. Wideouts all over the place. Going to run the quarterback draw. Werfel to the 25, and he's pulled down from behind at about the 23. Danny Werfel thought he saw something in the Auburn defense, a weakness, decided to run the ball. Primus and Walker.
Well, he had
grabbed him.
Had so many defenders, Jim, that were spread out, he thought he could just pop through the defensive line. One of the linemen made a good play.
We're down to 22 seconds in the half. Again, no running backs and no huddle for Florida. 2nd and 7. Werfel to throw. Got all day. Going to throw in the end zone. Man wide open. Touchdown. Oh, my goodness. Nobody was around the receiver, Aubrey Hill. He just sort of got lost over there, and a flag will be thrown against Florida for celebrating in the end zone, but nonetheless, they've got a touchdown on a 23-yard strike from Danny Werfel to Aubrey Hill, the junior out of Miami.
Well, we had Damon Primus and Gary Walker, Willie Whitehead, and Andre Miller all trying to rush Danny Werfel, and no penetration whatsoever on that play through the Florida offensive line. That was just a stone wall, and Danny Werfel had all day long. He waited and waited, and even when he threw it, he still didn't have anybody very close to him. Auburn's got to get to him.
Unsportsmanlike conduct foul against the receiving team. The touchdown counts. The 15 yards will be administered on the kickoff.
So Florida penalized for celebrating in the end zone after that touchdown. They have extended their lead to a dozen, 26-14, and they'll try to tack on the point after with Judd Davis kicking out of Shane Edge's hold. 13 seconds in the half. Boy, Hill just got lost. There was nobody within 7 or 8 yards of him. There's the snap, and the kick is away. The kick is good. Florida 27, Auburn 14. So Auburn really has their work cut out now as they're down by what amounts to a couple of touchdowns, Charlie, after having led earlier in the second quarter. Florida showing just how lethal they really are.
Well, I believe that if I'm right about this, we'll get Andy Burcham to check. I don't think that Florida has had but one possession in the first half where they did not come away with points. They've gotten a couple of field goals, and they've come away. They've had two possessions where they didn't get points. But I tell you what, this is a lethal attack, and Auburn's going to have to make some adjustments at halftime, but the adjustments can certainly be made. It's just a simple equation of how do you get to Danny Werfel best, and the difficult thing about that, it's not hard to determine how you get to the quarterback, but he gets rid of the ball so quickly in that fun and gun that sometimes, just as on the pass to Harrison Houston for the first down, we had Anthony Harris and also Terry Solomon right in his face, but he got rid of it right before they got to him.
Florida's penalized 15 yards on the kickoff, so they'll actually kick from their 20. But we only have 13 seconds in the first half. It's 27-14 Gators on top. Yeah, Werfel has not been pressured all day.
Now, Shane Edge, if he doesn't get a good kickoff, if he just tries to squib kick it, if one of the Auburn upbacks will pick the ball up and run as far as they can and get across midfield and run out of bounds, there may be an opportunity for a field goal attempt. Florida,
they don't have enough men on the field for the kick, and they bring in the 11th member of their kick team. It's going to be Edge who'll kick. Bailey is deep with Morrow. Soccer-style kick is coming to Bailey along this near boundary back at the 15. Thomas heads toward the middle across the 20 to the 25. Racing, trying to turn, get outside at the 30. Still on his feet, and he's out of bounds at the Gator 34. Over along the Florida bench, he went out of bounds with 3 seconds in the first half. Sam McCorkle upended him. There's a lot of pushing and shoving over there around that Florida sideline, but no fireworks, and Auburn will have one snap. They'll say that Bailey went out of bounds at the 35.
3 seconds remaining. We'll have to see if Auburn lines it up with trips formation and just tries to throw the Hail Mary and get the bounce. It doesn't look like they are going to do that because they've still got a tight end set.
Looks like Stan's going to take the snap out of that eye. He's got twin wide receivers, and he'll drop to a knee, and that'll be the end of the first half. Auburn playing it close to the vest in the last 3 seconds of the opening half as they've fallen behind 27-14 to the ever-dangerous Florida Gators. Stand by. Our halftime show is coming up when Auburn football continues in a moment.
and gentlemen, may we have your attention, please? The Walter Gilbert Award is the highest award Auburn University can bestow on one of its former athletes. Named in memory of Auburn's first and to date only three-time All-America and later Vice President of Texaco's European oil operations, the Walter Gilbert Award is given to a former student athlete who distinguishes himself or herself and brings credit to Auburn University by 25 years or more of distinguished professional service. Today's recipient, Morris Savage, was a guard on Auburn's 1957 National Championship football team. Playing in the golden era of Auburn football, Morris Savage lettered in 1957 and 1958, playing on teams that did not lose a regular season game, going 19-0-1 in that two-year period. After graduating from Auburn in 1959, he attended law school at the University of Virginia, graduating in 1962. His law firm, Bankhead & Savage, is located in Jasper, near his hometown of Dora in Walker County. While a student at Auburn, he was selected for membership in spades, said to be the highest honor an Auburn person could receive. He was a member of the Auburn Board of Trustees from 1979 through 1991. Morris is accompanied today by his wife, Carol, his daughter, Mary Beth Philpott, her husband, Phil, his son, Wesley, and his wife, Sarah Ann. Representing the Gilbert family is Susan Randolph, Walter Gilbert's granddaughter.
Thank you very much, Dr. Muse. What a great thrill for me to return to Jordan-Hare Stadium and be given the Walter Gilbert Award. To place this matter in proper perspective, it should be I who honors Auburn this day. It's great to be an Auburn Tiger. I shall never be able to repay Auburn and Auburn people for what you have done for me. I shall never forget you. And as Dean Petrie wrote many years ago, because Auburn men and women believe in these things, I believe in Auburn, and I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Morris Savage. Gentlemen, for your halftime entertainment, we present the 1993 Auburn University Marching Band. The theme of today's show is TV cartoon classics that made it to the big screen. We start our program with the Jetsons. We now feature our majorettes and flags to the hit tune, Friend Like Me, from the Disney movie Aladdin. Drills to that bedrock classic, the Flintstones. tell loyal Auburn fans to stand and join as the band stages the symbol of spirit for Auburn fans everywhere. War Eagles! Marching band. Directors are Tim Kelly and Greg Byrne. Graduate assistants are Greg Goslin, Mark Goffey, Jeff McKnight, and Nate Ritter. Drum majors are David Dubose and Amy Goddard. Majorette captain is Deanna Colley. Majorette assistants are Laura Lindsay and Jennifer Naylor. Flag captain is Donna Davenport. And flag assistant is Amanda Bivens. Director of bands at Auburn is Dr. Johnny Benson. Here's a final score. Ole Miss 19, Arkansas nothing. Playing in the second quarter, Georgia 27, Vanderbilt 3. In the fourth quarter, North Carolina 41, Georgia Tech 3. Playing in the fourth quarter, Michigan 21, Penn State 13. Final score, Syracuse 24, Pitt 21. Final, Wake Forest 20, Clemson 16. In the fourth quarter, Wisconsin 35, Purdue 7. In the third quarter, Texas A&M 20, Baylor 17. At the half, Virginia Tech 34, Temple 7. At the half, Eastern Michigan 14, Central Michigan 14. At the half, Maryland 20, Duke 9. In the third quarter, Navy 17, Colgate nothing. At the half, Kansas 17, Iowa State 6. In the second quarter, Missouri 28, Oklahoma State 3. Ladies and gentlemen, for your comfort, safety, and medical care, even in emergency situations, the Auburn Athletic Department provides 8 first aid stations throughout the stadium. A transport system with ambulances and paramedics are on standby for transfer to East Alabama Medical Center when needed. Should a medical emergency occur in your seating area, we ask for your cooperation with a staff of 30 medical professionals, including nurses, EMTs, and physicians who provide this care.
Riggins and our team back here at Jordan-Hare Stadium, where the Tigers trail Florida 27-14. You can talk statistics all day long, Charlie, but as far as I'm concerned, the bare facts of this game in the first half were Auburn's inability to get to the Florida quarterback, Danny Werfel. He had too much time to throw.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. He had 252 yards passing. And, Jim, the 2 touchdown passes, he had one to Aubrey Hill late, right at the end of the half, and he had one earlier to Jack Jackson, and both of them were on plays when Auburn couldn't get to him, and he had plenty of time to let the deep pass develop. Auburn's got to get to Werfel before he can sit back in the pocket and let the deep pass develop. That is a long pass play that it takes a long time to run those deep post routes and the deep goes. So Auburn's going to have to get to him with linebackers. Even if they make him throw the ball early, just don't let him sit back and throw it when he wants to.
I thought another key coming into the ball game was Auburn's ability to run the ball, and they were not able to run it in the first half.
Well, it was Auburn's ability to run the ball as a key from a time of possession standpoint, keeping Werfel and company off the field, and also it was Florida's ability to run the football. And Florida ran it successfully for 134 yards. Auburn only 12 yards. James Bostic had 14 yards on 6 carries, and Stan White had -2 yards. So -12 yards in the first half. Auburn, the time of possession, sort of like the Vanderbilt ball game in the first half. Florida 17 minutes and 18 seconds. Auburn only 12 minutes and 42 seconds. Much too long to leave Steve Spurrier and company on the field.
Let's check in, if we can, with Quentin Riggins and see what Coach Bowden told the team at halftime. Q?
Well, Jim, I didn't go in the locker room at halftime, but I did talk to some of the graduate assistant defensive players, and they're really disappointed in the defensive line front. The forwards had no push upfield, and that's what they need because they're running 5 and 6 defensive backs and only 1 linebacker, so they need a lot of pressure from the front 4.
Thomas Bailey on the near side, Harold Morrow on the far side. Ready to return the kick from Shane Edge. Edge boots a long one, end over end, deep. Bailey will let that one roll through the end zone and out of bounds, and Auburn will take a touchback at the 21st and 10 to go.
You know, Florida scores so quickly. They had, in their 3 touchdown drives, one was 5 plays, another 6 plays, and another 5 plays. So they score very quickly, and Auburn is going to have to keep the football away from Florida and put the points on the board. We're only 13 points behind, so 2 touchdowns, Auburn can win the game. Defensively, Auburn's going to have to pick up the pace to be in this one.
Sanders and Bailey are the wide receivers. Sanders to the right, Bailey to the left. The eye set for Stan White. Looks at a 4-man front for the Gators. White takes the snap up under center, retreats to throw. Fires, pass, caught, nice catch by Bailey. Reached out, pulled it in, got a first down up to the 39. Eddie Lake covering for the Gators. That's a 19-yard pickup and a nice catch by Bailey.
And a beautiful throw between 2 defenders by Stan White. It was number 18, that's Eddie Lake, who was the deep cornerback. And Thomas Bailey ran the curl route in front of him, and then Ben Hanks, they call him the bandit back, sort of an outside linebacker. He threw it over his head.
White from the spread on first down at his 39. Blitz is coming. White throws. Pass caught. Diving grab by Bailey, and at the Gator 48. And that'll be good for another first down. Lake again covering on the play, but Thomas Bailey has made 2 nice receptions to open up the second half. Auburn notching a couple of first downs, picking up another nice gain there. And the Tigers are in Gatorland, undaunted by Florida's 2-touchdown lead to open the second half.
And Stan White had a pretty good first half, even though he didn't have the best protection. He was 8 of 12 for 92 yards, so he threw the ball effectively when he had time.
Out of the shotgun again from the Gator 48. White pulls in the snap. There's that shovel pass to Bostic running inside, and Bostic is racing down to the Gator 45. James Bostic upended by the bandit back Ben Hanks. That little shovel pass, they tried it once in the first half. It's worked well this year on some occasions. In the first half, it rolled snake eyes. It didn't do anything when they tried to shovel it to the fullback Richardson. That time, Bostic picked up about 4 yards. 2nd and 6 to go. Stephen Davis has reported into the Auburn backfield in favor of Bostic. Both ends are split away. 2nd and 6 for White out of the shotgun. Stan over the middle. Davis down to the 40 for the catch, and he'll be a yard or two short of a first down, a gain of 5. Hanks making the stop. Stephen Davis was hit and suffered an ankle injury in the first half, and he's hobbling a little bit as he comes out of that huddle, trying to shake off the effects of the tackle by Hanks. Bostic will check in, replacing Davis. They also get Andy Fuller in at the tight end spot for Derek Dorn. So Auburn will be 3rd down, and they'll need a couple. The ball nose end at the Gator 40. Auburn moving from our right to our left. Overcast skies at Jordan-Hare Stadium. No rain as yet, although it rained before the ball game. There's the slot to the left out of the shotgun. White races on the bootleg, floats one downfield, caught at the 25, and out of bounds is Sanders at the 23-yard line. White racing on the bootleg, a 17-yarder to Sanders, and a first down for the Tigers as he falls out of bounds at the Gator 24.
Stan did a great job of looking off one receiver and throwing the ball to Frank Sanders. He had number 18, Thomas Bailey, short, and he looked like he was going to throw the ball to Thomas Bailey. Florida defensively converged on Bailey, and it left Frank Sanders pretty wide open, and he jumped up and made a great catch.
Ball at the left hash mark. Auburn has gone from the shotgun on every play but one to start the second half. They're in the shotgun again. The deep snap to Stan. He floats one out the flat, complete at the 20, and hammering down to the 15-yard line is Stephen Davis. That'll be good for about 9 yards.
And that big bull just ran into Anthone Lott, who is a cousin of all-pro safety Ronnie Lott in pro football. And boy, he felt the effects of number 48. He is slow getting up.
Had to be helped to his feet. Lott is a freshman out of Jacksonville, and he had a major collision with Stephen Davis, who was ruled out of bounds at the 16, 2 yards short of a first down, a gain of 8. That shotgun is working wonders here for the Auburn offense, Charlie.
It sure is. It's making Florida respect the pass, because earlier in the game when Stan White's under center, it seemed as if they were setting for the run and only reacting to the pass. So they're having to respect a little bit of both here as we start the second half.
Shannon Robic over the ball at center, and here's White up under center this time, needing 2 yards on second down at the Gator 16. Toss sweep, Bostic, the tailback, cuts it inside, got his first down. He bangs into the 10. First down for James Bostic. Gain of about 6 or 7. White tossed it to him. Bostic sprinted to the outside, then made a quick cut and darted down to the 10-yard line, carrying Hanks and Gilmore with him. First down, Auburn, and the ball is just outside the 10, so the Tigers theoretically could get a first down without scoring here. They trail 27-14, just over 12 minutes in the third period. 2 wideouts to the right side. White's running from the shotgun again. The ball at the left hash mark. Here is motion by Frank Sanders. The snap to White. Stan looking. Chased out of the pocket, in trouble. In the end zone and out of the end zone, incomplete. He had to waste that one and get rid of it in a hurry. Closing in on him, a big Gator rush in the form of Kevin Carter, the left defensive end, and White threw it over the head of Sean Carter.
And coming into the game, he led Florida with 3.5 sacks. He was one of the top defensive ends in the nation coming into this season. Very highly regarded, Kevin Carter, out of Tallahassee, 6'6", 271 pounds, with a lot of pressure on Stan. And Stan did what he needed to do, throw the ball out of the end zone and come back and line up again.
Arresting the clock at 11:50 in the third period, 27-14 Gators. Here's that shotgun slot right. The snap to White, he rolls to his right, looking, throwing on the run, man in the end zone, incomplete. Just through the hands of Frank Sanders, who made a diving effort to grab that ball between 2 defenders. Florida had good coverage from Kennedy and Gilmore, but White almost threaded the needle. Sanders made a gallant effort Pass is incomplete. 3rd down and 10 Auburn, or 3rd and goal, depending on where the ball is spotted.
Well, it looked like Frank Sanders had some trouble with his footing, and from this angle, I couldn't tell if the Florida defender ran into Frank Sanders or if he just slipped down. He may have just slipped trying to dive for the football, but it sends Auburn into a 3rd and 10. They're going to have to go for the end zone on this play.
Bailey to the right. In the slot is Sanders. They break the tight end out to the left, and here's the shotgun for White. Looking. He's in trouble. Stan's going to be sacked. Hit from behind. All the way out to the 19. Loss of 9 yards. Carter hit him. Campbell hit him. So Auburn will have to forego any thoughts of a touchdown, and they will settle for a field goal try by Etheridge.
Well, after having started with such a great drive, the Auburn offensive line let someone slip through again, and it was Kevin Carter, their leading sack man. They've got to keep an eye on number 57.
Scott Etheridge, 6 out of 7 this year. His longest field goal, 37 yards. This will be from 35. Carter is holding. Waiting for the snap. It's on the ground. The kick is away. It is no good, they say. Missed it wide right. Thought he had it, but he missed it wide to the right. The second miss this year by Etheridge. Plenty of distance, but it slipped off to the right on him. Timeout on the field. Let's take timeout.
That's Bill Barkley getting his college diploma. His mom's watching him graduate, thanks to money from a life insurance policy she bought 17 years ago from a farmer's insurance agent. She didn't know she'd use it for Bill, but her farmer's agent made sure she could if she wanted. There are a lot of good reasons to get life insurance. The fact that you can get it from a farmer's agent is one of them.
Call your local agent of the Farmers Insurance Group for your family insurance needs.
A costly miss by Scott Etheridge on the 35-yard field goal. That gives Florida possession, and they maintain that lead of 13 points, 27-14. Danny Werfel is your quarterback for the Gators. 3 wideouts left, 1 to the right. Draw play to Rhett, bounces off 1 man. Rhett is hemmed in, and he's dropped for a loss by Terry Solomon behind the line, but I think he used the face mask to grab him. Flag is down. Somebody grabbed him by the face mask, and I think it was Solomon, and the Gators will get a 5-yard penalty out of this, I assume a 5-yarder, and a first down.
Well, it was an inadvertent face mask, and it certainly...
5 yards, face mask penalty from the line of scrimmage, be first down and 5.
That's not one of the things you need to do to encourage the Florida offense. They don't need much encouragement, as they proved in the first half. Auburn has got to be on its P's and Q's and not give them any added advantage, make them earn everything they get.
That time they had Rhett for a loss of a couple, but they grabbed his face mask inadvertently. Auburn's penalized 5 yards up to the Gator 25, and it's first and 5 from there. Here's Werfel and Florida. Auburn with a 4-man front. 4-3 alignment. Werfel retreating to throw. Going to launch one down the middle of the field. Incomplete. Could have been intercepted by Chris Schilling. Jack Jackson, the intended receiver, but he was not within 20, 25 yards of the ball. Werfel just unloaded that one as the pressure was getting to him.
Well, that's exactly what Auburn needed to do. For the first time, when he threw the football, Danny Werfel hit his rear end, and it was number 91. That's Alonzo Etheridge coming from that right offensive side. The left defensive side got to him on that play, had to throw it before he wanted to. That was a good defensive play.
Slot left. Rhett is the setback. Werfel looking over a 4-3 Auburn alignment. 2nd and 5 to go. Delay to Rhett. Rhett sidesteps 1 man, and he almost crawls out to the 30 and got a first down. Harris wrestled him down with help from Etheridge. But Eric Rhett will pick up the 1st and 10 to the 30. They only needed 5 yards. So it'll be 1st and 10 from there. 10-14, 3rd period. Florida 27, Auburn 14. And the Gators with 4 more downs to operate.
And that's already the 18th first down in the ball game for Florida. They average about 27 a ball game.
Houston in the slot to the right. Jack Jackson breaks away to the far side. Willie Jackson to the near side. Rhett is the setback. Give to Rhett. Got a hole. Rhett cuts in across the 35, and he's out to the 36. Eric Rhett, almost unstoppable. Harris and Primus team up to make the stop after a gain of 6.
And again, Andre Miller, who was the left defensive end, for some reason he rushed to the inside and completely lost containment on Eric Rhett, who just went to the outside. that left defensive end position several times today has crashed to the inside on some type of a stunt.
2nd and 4. Harrison Houston splits to the left. Miller hustling off the field for Auburn defensively. Willie Jackson to the near side. Delay to Rhett, speeding to the left, looking for a block, trying to turn the corner. Gets up close to the 40-yard line. Terry Solomon on the tackle with Anthony Harris, his fellow linebacker, but that should give Florida another first down as the ball will be right at the 40-yard line. We've had one turnover in this game. That resulted in a 96-yard touchdown interception return by Auburn's Calvin Jackson, but otherwise no turnovers. And Florida, you would think that they would have had more, as loosely as they play and as wide open as they play. And yes, the chains are stretched as they measure for the first down. It is 1st and 10 Gators. But Charlie, they protect the ball pretty well.
Well, Eric Rhett just makes very few mistakes. He's one of the more versatile backs in the nation, Jim. He had 132 career receptions, which is a Florida record for running backs coming into the ball game.
At the Gator 40, Houston in motion out of the slot, goes back to the left from the I formation. Werfel the play fake. Werfel sets up, throwing long down this near sideline. It's caught but out of bounds. Jack Jackson on the cover on the reception, hauled it in over his shoulder, but he was out of bounds, falling down inside the Auburn 30. It'll be 2nd and 10 at the Gator 40.
And that's the 12th defender coming into play because Calvin Jackson thought that Jack Jackson was making a post break, and he was actually beaten on that play. That's one of the few times I've seen a receiver actually turn Calvin Jackson around, and he was open momentarily, but Danny Werfel threw it out of bounds.
Chris Doring is the wide receiver to the short side. That's the left. There's one setback, 3 wideouts to this near right side. Here's a 2nd and 10 play for Danny Werfel in Florida. Blitz is on. Werfel's going to float one over the middle. Pass is caught by Rhett at the 45, and he falls up to the 47 or 48. Terry Solomon was blitzing on the play, and give Werfel a lot of credit for unloading that ball. He had the presence of mind to find Eric Rhett over the middle, and Rhett gets about 8 yards up to the 48.
Anthony Harris and Brian Robinson right there. One of them was pretty close to being able to make a play for the interception. But, Jim, again, it's good to see pressure getting to Danny Werfel because he had to throw the ball, and he had to throw it in sort of a chancy type of a circumstance.
3rd and a couple. Crowd trying to cheer on the Auburn defense. Rhett breaks out of the backfield. They got Randolph as the lone setback. Rolling out is Werfel, throwing, pass, incomplete. Calvin Jackson breaking on that ball, intended for Houston. Jackson did a good job, and Calvin, I think, had designs on another interception return for a touchdown. The pass falls incomplete. Florida has to punt. A rare kicking situation for the Gators at 7:48 in the 3rd quarter, and a 27-14 lead.
Little Calvin Jackson is amazing. The ability to break on the football and close on the receiver, he has just unbelievable talent as far as that anticipation.
Bailey is back in single safety, waiting for the kick from Shane Edge. Edge stands at his 34, waiting for the snap. He's got it. There's a big rush. He drills a line drive. Bailey's going to return it from the 12. Bailey heads to this near side. Now he reverses field, crosses the 15, speeds over the 20, and falls down at the 24. Let's check in now with Auburn Network Control.
All right, Jim, checking the Dixie Crystal Sugar scoreboard. Alabama gets an early interception of a Heath Schuler pass and immediately turns it into points. 7:30 to go first quarter. It's Bama 3, Tennessee nothing up in Birmingham. Now let's go back to Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Auburn will be just between the 23 and 24-yard lines for this series of downs, and Auburn started the second half moving the ball very effectively down to the Gator 10, at which time their drive misfired, stalled, and Etheridge missed a field goal try, so the score remained at 27-14. Florida ground out a couple of first downs before kicking away to Auburn, and let's see what the Tigers can do now at 7:35 in the 3rd period, trailing by 13 points.
Well, it was a great opportunity on the first drive to get back into this ball game in a big way with Auburn getting some points, but they were wide with the field goal. Scott Etheridge doesn't miss often, but Jim, let's see if Auburn comes back out as they did in the first drive in the shotgun formation, because it seems like Florida has not adjusted as well to the shotgun as they have when Stan White's under center.
Let's take 10 seconds for station identification on the Auburn Network.
This is where you hear the Tigers. WLWI-FM, Montgomery, War Eagle.
White, toss sweep, Boston Bostic end around, reverse. Sanders got a block, across the 30. Sanders to the 35. Sanders up to the 40-yard line. That's a 16-yard gain. Anthony Lott and Ed Robinson hauled him in, but a nice gain on first down. And they tossed it to Bostic. Bostic rolled to his right, handed it off on the flanker reverse, the end around to Sanders.
And big Jason Taylor out there making a good block, but it was Stan White that actually made the block that popped him through. He made a nice block on one of the defenders who was trying to chase down in the backfield Frank Sanders.
Stephen Davis checks in at running back along with Reed McMillan. Slot to the right, out of the shotgun. Here's White. Blitz is on. Gets rid of it, throws it to Davis. Davis behind the line with a flag on the play. Davis to the 45, Davis to midfield, Davis to the 49. But there's a marker down back upfield. Let's see if they don't get Florida for roughing the passer. The flag went down in the Auburn backfield. Referee Al Ford throwing, and let's check this laundry here. Screen pass to Stephen Davis, presumably for the first down. Let's see.
A personal foul, a blow to the head.
So tack on 15 more to the 11-yard gain, and that'll move Auburn down to the Gator 34. You know, Auburn has not had much trouble at all moving the ball here in the second half, and in the first half, although the stats don't show it, as Davis hobbles off the field with that injured ankle. In the first half, they were able to mount some big plays on occasion, but here in the second half, they have really been able to pick up some big gains early on. Lewis Battle is in for the first time, wide receiver. He's a true freshman out of Roanoke, Alabama. Hobbling off the field, Davis. So here's Bostic at tailback, and Bostic off the toss sweep might have gotten a yard at the very most from the 34. William Gaines and Mark Campbell belted him down. Let's see where they popped the ball at the 34. Let's say no gain on the play for James Bostic. So it's 2nd and 10 at the Gator 34. Clock is running at 6:20.
Be a good time in this running series if Auburn goes back to the toss sweep to fake it on that end around again, because Auburn has had a lot of success this year with some open alleys to run in on the toss sweep if they fake it to the end around.
White's up under center this time. Out of the I set, McMillan's the fullback, Bostic the tailback. Here's that end around reverse. Sanders wants to throw. Sanders in trouble. Sanders is going to throw downfield. Knocked down and almost intercepted. Razzle-dazzle play as the left-hander Frank Sanders, who had picked up 16 yards on the end-around reverse earlier, wanted to throw that time, looking for Thomas Bailey down around the 10 or 15-yard line, and Michael Gilmore had other ideas. He broke up that pass and almost intercepted. If he had, he's gone.
Well, I tell you what, Frank Sanders did a miraculous job of getting away from Florida pressure. He looked like a seasoned veteran quarterback on that play. Stepped up in the pocket and fired a rocket, but it was a little bit late getting to Thomas Bailey.
Wildest play we've seen around here in a while. 3rd down and 9 from the 34. Here's White. Out of the shotgun, flushed out of the pocket, going to run. 30, 25. Should have the first down to the 22, maybe the 21. Ben Hanks knocked him off his feet, but Stan White, with some good scrambling, out racing the Florida defenders, and let's see where they put him down at the 23, knee on the ground. That'll be a first down. And gain of about 10.
The longer that Auburn can keep the Florida defense on the field, the less active and the less that Florida's speed is going to play in the fourth quarter defensively. So Auburn doing a good job here in the third quarter. No points yet, but they're doing a good job of keeping the ball away from the Florida offense.
They trail 27-14, 5:26 left in the third period. White's going to fake. Rolling out. Got a man wide open, over the shoulder catch. Fullback Richardson, 15, 10, 5. He's gone. Touchdown, Auburn! Tony Richardson was wide open. Nobody laid a hand on him after he hauled that ball in at the 15 and raced for 23 yards and a score.
And, Jim, that was absolutely a blown coverage by one of the linebackers for Florida, because Tony Richardson on the fake toss sweep just slipped out into the flat, and I think it was number 48, highly regarded Dexter Daniels out of that Vaughn and Valdosta, Georgia high school program that missed the assignment, and he was wide open, caught it in the flat, and then he caught a great block.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct against the Blues. Penalty will be on the kickoff, 15 yards.
Referee Al Ford whistling Auburn for celebrating too much. You know, not because it affected Auburn on that play, but earlier they whistled Florida for it in the first half. I think they take it a little bit too far. You can't even celebrate anymore. You can't even show jubilation without getting a 15-yard penalty.
And I think it was Thomas Bailey that set up that block around the 5-yard line that sprung Tony Richardson on into the end zone. That was great blocking downfield.
All right, Etheridge is on for the point after. Carter's in to hold. Brentsfield snap. Spot, kick, good. New ball game. Florida 27, Auburn 21. Stay tuned for the kick. We'll be back as Auburn football continues in a moment.
There are a lot of reasons so many young families come to State Farm for life insurance. There's nobody better than a State Farm agent at helping you design a life insurance plan that fits your family and your budget. That's because State Farm agents take the time to listen, to answer your questions, to explain your life insurance choices. Personal service. It makes life insurance from State Farm the kind of value more and more young families choose. And it's a great reason to call your State Farm agent.
Paul Ella back at Auburn Network Studios checking the Dixie Crystal Sugar scoreboard. Tennessee with a long pass from Heath Schuler to Craig Faulkner, and the Volunteers lead Alabama 7-3. They're playing with 4.5 minutes to go in the first quarter in Birmingham. Tennessee 7, Bama 3. Now back to Jordan-Hare for the kickoff. Jim and Charlie.
So this third Saturday in October, living up to expectations. Stan White on the day, 16 out of 22, 190 yards. He's played a fine game.
And Auburn has not run the ball too effectively, but they've sure thrown it effectively, especially in this second half. The shotgun formation seems to be troublesome to the Florida Gator defense.
Auburn kicking from the 20. Karkoska boots it. Jack Jackson moves on it at the Gator 25. Looking for a seam. 30, 35, 40, 45, and pull down. So Florida's got great operating position here. Harold Morrow was down on the tackle. All that because Auburn was penalized for celebrating after that touchdown pass to Tony Richardson. I want to talk a little bit more about that. You know, they wanted to take away all the dancing and all the shucking and jiving in the end zone, which I'm all for it, but why can't you celebrate? Why can't you enjoy the success as Auburn did there and as Florida tried to do in the first half and got penalized for it?
A lot of people forget these are 18 to 22-year-old kids out there.
At the 46, first down Gators. They lead 27-21, given Eric Rett. Speeds up the middle. He's at the 50. He's in a foot race at the Auburn 40. He's at the 35. And finally, it's pulled down inside the 30 at the 27-yard line by Terry Solomon. Rett is so dangerous, a 27-yard burst right there, and Florida blocks ever so well for him. And he's got great instincts. He seems to know where that hole's going to be.
Well, it's hard to understand also how he has such big running alleys on these draw plays, because the draw play is a fairly slow developing play, but Eric Rett is very quick once he makes his decision.
At the Auburn 27, Florida leads 27-21. We're inside of 5 minutes in the third quarter. Slot right. Give it to Rett again. Looking to get outside, bounces off one man, and is finally yanked down at the 25-yard line. Ace Atkins hit him first, and Anthony Harris came in to help out. At the 25, a gain of 2.
And Chris Schelling from the boundary corner came up, Jim, and he stuck Eric Rett and could not believe that he didn't lock up. Eric Rett bounces off a lot of tackles. Once you hit him, even if you stick him hard, we've seen now Chris Schelling and Anthony Harris do that and seen him bounce off for extra yardage.
Rett has 173 yards unofficially. 2nd and 8, Gators at the Auburn 25. Rett in the backfield along with Randolph. Slot right. Ball at the left hash mark. Werfel the play fake and sets up with time. Nice flushed out of the pocket. Flag on the play. They got him. He is sacked. Ace Atkins on the sack for a big loss back at the 38-yard line. Flag is down. They may get Florida for a hole. Let's see.
And you know who Ace Atkins beat on the play, Jim? He beat big number 78, Reggie Green, the all-world left tackle. And he's 6'7", 296 pounds. And that's exactly who Ace Atkins at 6'4" and 213 came around.
And the Gators were guilty of a hold in addition.
10-yard holding penalty declined against the offense at third down.
Well, Steve Spurrier doesn't leave a lot of question as to what he would do on 3rd and 20. Auburn needs to settle back defensively and not let any of those receivers get deep, because this is where Danny Werfel likes to just throw it up for grabs.
They lost 15 on the sack, and here's 3rd down and 20 for the Gators at the Auburn 38. Listen to the noise. Werfel One setback, wants to throw. Werfel looking, rolling left, setting up, reversing. He's in trouble. They belt him, and down he goes. He is sacked at the 49-yard line. They made a sandwich out of Danny Werfel. An Auburn defender comes out of there with a ball, but the play had been blown dead. Oh, Werfel really got sandwiched between 3 or 4 men. Gary Walker, Mike Pelton, Willie Whitehead. Big loss of 10 more yards, and the Gators are out of scoring position.
It was big Mike Pelton and Willie Whitehead who hit Danny Werfel first, and it was Gary Walker coming from that wide side that thought he had the football, thought that Werfel had fumbled it, and the official ruled that the ball was down on ground contact.
Another sack of Danny Werfel. 4th down, 31 for Florida. Edge is on to punt. Bailey is deep. Big rush. They almost got it. Flag down, roughing the kicker. Bailey will let it roll. It'll go into the end zone for a touchback, but they're going to say that Auburn was guilty of roughing Shane Edge, and the Tigers have a couple of men shaken up on the play, one of whom I think got a foot in the midsection.
Well, there was some contact.
That was Dale McGee.
There was some contact made, Jim, and the official's right there. He's a lot closer than we are, but you have to give...
5-yard running into the kicker penalty by the defense.
It's only a 5-yard penalty now. That should not...
Timeout is called. We'll see when they unsort this. McGee is up, being helped off. He's going to limp off under his own power. A 5-yard inadvertent roughing the kicker penalty, or running into the kicker, more accurately.
And I was about to say that Shane Edge should get a lot of credit because he put on a pretty good acting performance on that one.
They poured in on him, Charlie, and they did run into him, and the flag went down. 5-yard penalty for running into the kicker, and they'll kick it again.
Running into the kicker, 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
So it's 4th down and 26 now. Not an automatic first down on the running into the kicker.
That is a huge break for the Auburn Tigers. I mean, a huge break.
Moving into the 43, and they'll kick it again. Edge stands at his 43, waiting for the snap. Auburn's got 6 men now at the line of scrimmage. Bailey back deep at the 10. Edge will get this one off. It's a beautiful tight spiral. It's going to make the end zone untouched. Auburn brings it out to the 20. Timeout on the field. 2:22, 3rd quarter. Florida by a touchdown. Let's take timeout.
In life, there are certain numbers you can't change.
4 times 5 is 45.
Really? I'm 6 feet tall.
I'm telling you, honey, I'm 39.
But you can change your rate with a 2 or 4 year Say When CD from Colonial Bank. With our Say When CD, you get the one-time option of changing to another CD of the same term when a better rate comes along. Yes, there are some numbers you can't change, but with the Say When CD from Colonial, you just say when.
Okay, so I'm 40.
Colonial Bank, good people, great service. Member FDIC. Offer expires December 31st, 1993.
White to Bostic, 10 yards. Bostic blasts out to the 35. He's to the 36 and a first down. Running from the tailback spot with a big hole off that left side. Let's give credit to Wayne Gandy, Jason Taylor, Shannon Robique, and the rest up front. Larry Kennedy out of the Gator secondary making the stop after a gain of 16 by Bostic.
And that's the first hole that James Bostic has had that really could truly be called a big hole. He fired through that hole untouched into the secondary.
Sean Carter splits away to the right. Sanders unsure of the play, comes back to ask White what it is, and he's in the slot to the right side, out of the eye. There's the play fake to Bostic. White sets up, going down this near sideline. He's got his man Richardson caught and out of bounds at the Gator 41. Richardson made sure he held on to that ball just as he was falling out of bounds after a gain of 23. And the Gator defensive saddle is beginning to slip.
What a touch pass that time by Stan White. It was just a flattened up route. Ben Hanks, who is that bandit back, was completely beaten on the play, and he was depending on number 3 in the backfield. That's Kennedy, Larry Kennedy, the 3-year starter, to come up and make the play. And Tony Richardson goes up and keeps his foot in bounds. A heady play by Richardson.
Bostic the tailback. Richardson's at full. White's up under center. White out to either side. Toss sweep. Bostic fake the reverse. Cut it inside of the 40 and roll down at about the 39. Hard running by Bostic off that toss sweep. Daniels and Hambrick on the tackle. A gain of a couple. 2nd and 8 to go. So Auburn trying another running play. They found great success on first down from the 20 as White gave it to Bostic, and he raced for 16 yards before anybody laid a hand on him. And that time he got a couple. So Auburn looks at 2nd and 8. Carter wide left, and in the slot to the left is Sanders. White out of the shotgun formation. Stan takes the snap and rolls left. White's going to throw on the run. Caught by Sanders at the 26, and he's out of bounds at about the 24. That shotgun has been the death knell for the Gators here in the second half. Worked extremely effectively for Auburn. Hamrick knocked him out of bounds. That's 15 more yards and a first down to the Florida 24. Minute 7 left in the third quarter.
And Frank Sanders was the slot back on this near sideline. The wide receiver was Sean Carter. He ran a short sideline route, and Frank Sanders ran a deep post, not a deep post, but a deep flag route on the sideline, caught it for the first down.
Sanders stays in. He's wide right. That's the wide side of the field. Bailey to the short left side. Here's White rolling out. Pops one to Bailey. Got it. Pulled it in. Close to a first down at the 15 along this near boundary. Climbed the ladder, got in front of Larry Kennedy, and was able to haul it in about a yard short of a first down at the 15.
Isolated Thomas Bailey man-on-man with Kennedy. A little toss sweep fake, and Stan White wheeled around and threw it high to Thomas Bailey, who went up and grabbed it in front of Larry Kennedy, and that play was executed to perfection.
White is having a career afternoon passing the ball. We'll check his stats in a moment. Second down, he's going to sneak. He's going to power ahead. Should have his first down to the 12. Tucked right in behind Shannon Robique. Barrowed into the pile and got his first down to the 12-yard line.
And again, Jim, one of the most important things that Auburn's doing right now, Florida still got the 27-21 lead. We got 27 seconds remaining in the third quarter, but Auburn is keeping the Florida offense off the field, and they're continually making the Florida defense play, which is going to make them more tired in the fourth quarter.
White ruled down at the 13. Nonetheless, it is an Auburn first down, and here he loads up the shotgun again. Wideouts left and right. White shovel pass. Bostic tries the middle. He is going to be pushed down, finally slung away by defender Ellis Johnson after he reached the 10-yard line. I think he got about 2 or 3 yards.
We've got one of the Gators hurt. That's big number 94, William Gaines, their only senior on the defensive line, Jim, and he's going to have to be helped off the field.
Limping visibly as he leaves the field at the end of the third quarter. Florida 27 and Auburn 21. Auburn football continues in a moment.
Alabama Power.
Are you an energy expert?
Why, yes.
My wife and I.
Hi there. Hello.
We're looking for a new home, and she says we should only buy Good Sense.
She's right. Told you so. Good Sense homes are built for year-round comfort and savings.
Savings?
That's right. Features like double-pane windows, extra insulation, and an electric heat pump help lower your energy costs all year long.
So we can save enough to...
pay on a new car.
Only if it's Good Sense.
Call the energy experts at Alabama Power, and let's talk Good Sense.
With homes, careers, and growing families, too, women today have more responsibilities than ever. And State Farm agents are trained to help women keep up with their growing life insurance needs. Your State Farm agent can help you develop an affordable life insurance plan that's right for your family and your budget. A plan that protects the people who are depending on you more than ever before. To learn more about life insurance, call your State Farm agent.
Back at Auburn Network Studios, checking the Dixie Crystal Sugar scoreboard. Colorado not making Orange Bowl officials happy. The Buffaloes have bored into Norman, Oklahoma, and they lead number 9 Oklahoma 13-0 in the first quarter. Now back to Jim and Charlie, Jordan-Hare.
New Auburn center Greg Thompson, Shannon Robique hurt on the last play. Here's a second down and 8. Outside the Gator 10. White fakes. Going to throw to his tight end, Dorn. Dorn is down at the Florida 5-yard line. White faked the inside handoff, rolled left a couple of steps, and threw it to Dorn, and he had his feet taken out from under him by Larry Kennedy.
That was a very good play by Stan White, because number 40, that's Johnny Church, who didn't play against Mississippi State or LSU, but one of the fine defensive players for Florida, was right on top of Stan. And he's 6'3", 246, but was not able to bring him down before he got it to Derek Dorn.
Auburn needs 2 for a first down, 5 for a touchdown. Third down play. Double tight end set, Dorn and Fuller. On either side, one wide receiver. Eye set, toss sweep. Bostic cuts it inside, looking for the first down. He's into about the 3 or 4. Let's see where they spot it. Didn't make it. Missed it by a yard. They'll spot him down at the 4. Florida came out of the pile with the ball, but they ruled the whistle had blown. So Auburn now, decision time for Coach Bowden. He is a yard away from a first down, 4 away from a touchdown. No indication they're going to send the kicking team on. They're going to call timeout and discuss it. Auburn will be 4th down and a yard at the Florida 4, trailing 27-21 with 13:46 remaining in the ball game. Stand by. Timeout on the field. Auburn football continues in a moment.
You're driving home, adding it all up. Mortgage. One kid wants to go to college. Ivy League. Other kid needs braces. You'll make it, but you don't need any more worries, especially from your car. May we suggest Chevron gasolines with the cleansing additive Tetraline. It's a simple thing you can do today to avoid unexpected problems tomorrow. Chevron, simply smarter.
4th down, a yard to go. Steve Spurrier and his defensive assistants have called their unit all the way over to talk to them about this upcoming play as Auburn is at the Gator 4. And the Tigers indicate they are going for it. Stan White and the offensive unit stays on the field, 4th and a yard at Florida's 4. Trailing 27-21, 13:46 to go. I think, make it or not, it's a wise decision.
It's a wise decision. Auburn certainly needs the momentum with this much time left in the 4th quarter to be ahead in the ball game. So Auburn has gotten some of this yardage by quarterback sneaks earlier in the season, but it's a full yard, Jim, on 4th down.
2 tight ends. White up under center, 1 wide receiver from the I set. White's going to give it to Bostic. Racing to get outside, won't make it. Broken tackle. He's going to go. Touchdown, Auburn! They have Bostic over on the far flank, trying to turn the corner. I don't see how James broke out of that. He was in the clutches of Ed Robinson and Henry McMillan. They had him by the shirt, wrapped up hopelessly. He was able to spring loose and get his touchdown. Auburn moves on top, ties it up, 27-all, and a chance to go on top with the point after.
And Dexter Daniels was out there too. Dexter Daniels, number 48, again, out of Valdosta High School, a great linebacker, tied for the lead with tackles for the Florida Gators, and he absolutely missed the tackle on James Bostic. Give James Bostic all the credit in the world and a lot of heart to get into the end zone on that play.
Scott Etheridge, point after, good out of the hole to Sean Carter. 10 plays, 80 yards. The Tigers are back on top, 28-27. We've got a thriller at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Stand by for more. Auburn football continues in a moment.
Won't you make it better? Make it right. Don't settle for less. Make it last all night. Make it a Bud Light. Make it Bud Light. Never fills you up, never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. Make it Bud Light. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Auburn Network's coverage of Auburn football is brought to you in part by First Alabama Bank and Center, Columbiana, at hometowns throughout the state. First Alabama Bank has the strength you can count on.
What a turnaround by Auburn. Charlie, they look like 2 different football teams.
Florida's only had the ball 2 times in the second half after scoring 27 first-half points. They were forced to punt on both occasions. Auburn has climbed back to the lead, 28-27. Here's the kickoff.
Brian Karkoska boots it deep and out of the end zone, and Jack Jackson won't handle that one. Florida, 1st and 10 at their 20 after the touchback. Auburn 28 and Florida 27. We still have 13:40 to play. Second time Auburn has led today, and the first time they grabbed the lead, Florida was really unfazed. They just steamrolled right back into the lead. In fact, they put a couple of touchdowns on the board, and they led comfortably at halftime, 27-14.
Only in one other game this season has Florida been behind in the 4th quarter. That was against Kentucky, and they won that one with 3 seconds to go. They haven't been in this position very often.
Eric Redd is the setback for Danny Werfel. Here's motion by Harrison Houston back to the near side. Long snap count. Werfel deals it off to Redd. Slides off the left side and bursts ahead for 5 yards to the 25. Terry Solomon coming over to make the play.
And when Florida needs a play, Jim, they go behind big number 78, Reggie Green, and that's exactly where Eric Redd was able to get that 5 yards.
Here in the second half, Auburn has really controlled the line of scrimmage. They lead in first downs in the second half alone, 13-3. So that'll give you an idea of just how thoroughly Auburn has dominated the second half of play. 13 minutes to go. Auburn by 1 point. The Gators 2nd and 5 at their 25. Wuerffel fakes the toss sweep, rolls to his left, shoots a pass upfield, complete to his tight end for a first down at the 30, and he is butted down at the 31-yard line, Charlie Dean. Chris Schelling, little cornerback, came up to knock him off his feet. Gain of about 5 or 6. And it's going to be first down Gators, call it their 31.
Charlie Dean is not the first-string tight end. Greg Keller injured a groin against Kentucky, and he's missed the Tennessee, Mississippi State, and LSU games. That's only Charlie Dean's second reception on the year.
Willie Jackson split to the right. Harrison Houston in the slot. 2 setbacks. Deal to Rhett. Looking to get outside. Cut it back inside, and Rhett is up to the 34. Got about 3. Chris Schelling and Jason Miska on the tackle for Auburn. For a gain of 3.
He is shifty. Eric Rhett is a shifty running back. 3 or 4 Tigers right there to make the stop, and Eric Rhett just sidesteps Terry Solomon and makes a positive play out of what could have been a loss.
Check me on that, a 2-yard gain and not a 3 to the 34. Well, this crowd is going nuts. One running back is Rhett. Triple slot to the right. Wuerffel rolls right, throws on the run. Houston grabs it, and Houston dropped it up at the 40-yard line. Did a juggling act with it, and then dropped it out of bounds as he was covered by Chris Schelling. I thought Harrison Houston would hold on to that one for sure. He was wide open. It'll be third down and 8 yards to go at the Gator 34.
Jim, you're talking about a guy that's got 84 career catches and 16 touchdowns. Harrison Houston just does not drop many balls like that. Auburn's has got to take advantage of that break. That's a huge break.
Auburn's got 5 defensive backs. Florida with no running backs. Wide receivers all over the place for Wuerffel. Wuerffel looking. Wuerffel is hit from behind. Down he goes. They got him on the sack back at the 30. It was Ace Atkins who beat the blocker and got to Danny Wuerffel from behind and yanked him down.
Well, they found someone who can get to the quarterback. Ace Atkins out of Atlanta, 6'4", 213 senior, number 99, for the second time in the ball game has gotten to Danny Wuerffel.
The 3rd sack of the day by Auburn, all in this second half. And Atkins playing a role in all 3 of them, actually. Auburn leads it 28-27. 11-20 in the ball game, and on to punt is Shane Edge to Thomas Bailey. Face-high snap. Edge puts a lazy spiral in the air that Bailey lets go out of bounds inside the 30 and will be ruled out at the 26.
Boy, that's a poor spot, too,
Real
Jim.
poor spot.
That ball went out of bounds 5 yards before it hit out of where the official's marking.
Timeout on the field. Auburn football continues in a moment.
When any sport gets you down, you need sports medicine. That's where Health South comes in. Health South provides the best in sports medicine for the professional athlete, and they can provide the best for you. If you injure yourself on the football field, the basketball court, the baseball diamond, or the golf course, Health South can get you back in the game. Health South, the official sports medicine providers for Auburn University and the Southeastern Conference Championships.
You know, you look at the spot on that ball where they say it went out of bounds back to the Auburn 26, Charlie. I would have thought that they might have marked it further upfield around the 30-31. Let's go down to Quentin Riggins.
Jim, for 3 quarters, Auburn had been conceding the run to Florida by just running a 4-1 defense with 6 defensive backs. But now they've gone back to a 5-2 defense. They're taking away the run. They won't Florida throw the ball. That's why we got the ball back.
Is there some rain, Quentin? Is it starting to rain?
It's starting to miss just a little. It's not raining heavy enough to stop the ball from being thrown.
1st and 10, Auburn at their 26. Here's Stan up under center. Going to give it to Bostic. Bostic slides through a hole. He's up over the 30. Bostic rips up to the 39. Pulled down from behind by Gilmore and Hanks. Bostic just peeled off about 8 or 9.
And keep in mind, one of the reasons that James Bostic is getting the holes now, Jim, is because the Auburn offense was on the field so long during the third quarter. That Florida defense has been on the field the entire second half, and you've got to believe they are tired. We've got 10 minutes and 42 seconds remaining in the game, and that defense has got to feel the effects of being on the field this long in the second half.
9 yards for Bostic to the 35, second and a yard to go. Again from that I set. The sneak by White, and it's going to be close. I don't know if Stan made it or not. They push him back. Looked like William Gaines, the big senior defensive tackle, was in there and smelled that play out and pushed White back. He didn't make his first down. In fact, he didn't make anything. It's going to be third down and still a yard to go from the Auburn 35. So White on the quarterback sneak is stopped cold, and Auburn trying to maintain possession of the ball with exactly 10 minutes to play. We'll try to log another first down here in this third and short situation. Gaucher is one of the wide receivers. He's flanked to the left, the wide side of the field. Sean Carter comes to the short side of the right. Out of the eye. White to Bostic on the toss. Bostic turns the corner, got his first down. He's to the 40, and he's out of bounds at the 42. Running to the short side of the field, Bostic got good blocking and containment on the Florida forward. Got 7 yards and a first down. 10 seconds for identification on the Auburn network.
Boy, Wayne.
100,000 watts of War Eagle. WLWI-FM, Montgomery.
Excited about Wayne Gandy's block. Tell us about it.
Wayne Gandy just went head up with number 57, Kevin Carter, who's been a thorn in Auburn's side, and he stalemated the defensive end, and that's why James Bostic got the first down.
First down from the Auburn 42 out of the shotgun. White throwing on the run, and he underthrows Bailey up at the Florida 48. Might have been tipped at the line of scrimmage, but it never got to Bailey, who tried to make a dive and grab it, but it's 2nd and 10.
And I think that was number 94, big William Gaines, that fired through there and put a little pressure on Stan. And I don't think he's the one that actually tipped the ball, but he was the one that forced Stan to throw the ball.
Stephen Davis in the Auburn backfield now, along with Reed McMillan. Sanders is one of the wideouts on the left flank. And here on the short side of the field, as Auburn moves to the left of the right, is Thomas Bailey. Loading up the shotgun is White. White takes the low snap, picks it up off his shoe top's going to run. White is under a tackle at the 45, but got butted down hard by Darren Hamrick. Hamrick really drilled White, and Darren Hamrick nails Stan, but I think Stan's going to be okay. A gain of about 2 or 3.
And Hamrick is that strong safety in there. They call him the Gator back. He replaced Monty Grove, who was the starter, but fractured his arm against LSU. And Hamrick came in and intercepted 2 passes. He's a true freshman and a good-looking prospect. Made a nice tackle. Puts Auburn in a 3rd and 7 situation. Time for a big play.
Let's give Stan 3 yards on the keeper. 9 minutes in the ball game. Auburn by a point, 28-27. 3rd and 7 to go. White out of the shotgun. Over the middle, through the hands of Sanders, and he had a sure first down and a lot more if he holds on. Right through the hands of Frank Sanders, usually sure-handed, but Ben Hanks covering on the play, and Sanders couldn't hang on. I think Sanders had designs on what he was going to do after he caught the ball, and he forgot the most important part, and that was holding on to it. 4th down and 7 at the Auburn 45. Kennedy is deep for the Gators. And here's Terry Daniel. Let's see if Terry could pin him deep one time. He had a 71-yard boot in the first half that Auburn was not able to down at the goal line. He launches a wobbly kick, going to turn it over. It's going to bounce at the Gator 4 and roll into the end zone, end over end. So Florida is out to the 20, 1st and 10 to go. Timeout on the field. Auburn football continues in a moment.
Alabama Power.
Are you an energy expert?
Why, yes.
My heating system is on its last leg. Would a heat pump save me money?
Yes, ma'am. A heat pump saves you money winter and summer.
But I hear they're not as warm as my system.
Oh, staying warm is no problem with a heat pump. It just works differently than other systems. A heat pump provides constant, comfortable temperatures, not sudden blasts of hot, dry air and noise.
That works for me. I'm glad I got the facts.
Don't be fooled by a lot of hot air. Call the energy experts at Alabama Power, and let's talk heat pumps.
First down play for Danny Werfel in Florida from their 20. Out of the eye, Werfel with a play fake to Rhett. Sets up with time. Werfel fires, pass, caught. Great catch up the 37-yard line. Willie Jackson, a diving grab. Coverage by Brian Robinson. Good for 17 yards and a first down.
Well, Auburn had the play pretty well defended, actually, but Danny Werfel was able to wait and wait and wait in the pocket and allowed the receivers to break their routes and to find an open area. That was just strictly a result of too much time for the Florida quarterback.
Florida's got a new running back in there, Tony Davis, a sophomore out of Chipley, 6 feet 203, along with Rhett. First down play from the 37. Slot left. Back to throw Werfel. Rushes after him, throws down that far side. It is incomplete. Racing down the far sideline was Tony Davis, who had just reported in. Chris Schilling had him well covered down the far boundary, and it'll go to 2nd down and 10 at the Florida 37.
Terry Solomon was firing in from the defensive right side, and Danny Werfel didn't really see him. He threw the ball just before Solomon got there, but I think he felt the pressure, a little peripheral vision by the Florida quarterback, and he threw the ball not as accurately as he would have wanted to. Good pressure that time.
Auburn 28, Florida 27. From the 37-yard line. 3 wideouts left and 1 right. Red is the setback. Werfel up under center, waits. Auburn rushing 4. Werfel takes it, backpedaling, setting up, throwing over the middle. Got Red at the 40, Red to the 45, and he's out of bounds up close to a first down along the 48-yard line. Let's check in with Auburn Network Control.
All right, Jim, checking the Dixie Crystal Sugar scoreboard. Florida State has started, and yes, they're ahead. 14-0 quickly over Virginia first quarter. Tennessee and Alabama. It's Tennessee 7-3 with 6 minutes to go in the first half in Birmingham. Now back to Jordan-Hare.
We have flags down after the play, and let's see what this call will be from referee Al Ford.
12 men on the field on the defense. 15 yards from the previous spot, first down.
So that's bad news. Auburn has been shifting personnel on every snap of the ball defensively, and apparently got their wires crossed that time, and it results in a 15-yard penalty. Florida will take the penalty instead of the play, and that'll move it into the Auburn 48-yard line. First down for the Gators from there.
And this Florida offense doesn't need any encouragement, and 12 men on the field gives them a big break. They're in Auburn territory from the 48-yard line. The defense is going to have to find a way to get that pressure on quarterback Danny Werfel.
8:02 to play. Auburn leads 28-27. Here's Werfel. Lights are on under the overcast skies of Jordan-Hare. He gives it to Rhett. Breaks through a hole. He's at the 45, the 40. He stumbles inside the 35, and he drives ahead to the 32 or 3. Alonzo Etheridge tripping up Eric Rhett. That'll be another Gator first down. Gain of about 15 or so. Let's see where they put down the ball. Ball is going down at the 32. It's going to be a gain of 16 yards by the Gator running back, who has had such a superb performance today. Eric Rhett up near the 200-yard mark. And once again, Auburn not getting much of a rush on quarterback Danny Werfel to keep him honest. Auburn changing personnel defensively, and a whistle. And is Auburn going to call time? Yes, they will. Auburn had their signals crossed again defensively. Some people in the ball game who were not supposed to be, and they had to burn a timeout that could be ever so valuable later on in this game. 7:39 remain to be played. Auburn 28, Florida 27. Timeout on the field. Auburn football continues in a moment.
If you want more performance from your car, maybe what you need is more performance from your gasoline. For quick response and smooth acceleration, move up to 93-octane Exxon Supreme gasoline and turn the Tiger loose. For high performance, rely on Exxon 93 Supreme.
Florida moving the football, trailing by a point to Auburn with a lot of time remaining, 7:39. But, Charlie, you get the feeling if Auburn could rise to the occasion defensively and stop the Gators, it would really take the sap out of them here.
Well, Florida certainly feels like that they're going to go in and get some type of points, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown, to take the lead. The situation Auburn is in that they have earned here in the second half is that they have the 1-point lead, and no matter what happens, they'll be back on offense with another chance to score.
Harrison Houston comes in the slot to the left. Here's Willie Jackson out on the left flank. Rhett, the tailback. Randolph is at fullback. Auburn showing blitz. Back to throw Werfel. He's in trouble. Werfel gets it away. It's intercepted by Chris Schilling. Schilling to the 30, 35 to the 40, Schilling to the 45. He's at midfield. He's to the 40, looking for a Double block. He's at the 25. He's at the 20. Still on his feet at the 15. He is driven out of bounds at the Gator 10. The second interception of the day by the Auburn defensive backs. That time they got the big rush on Danny Werfel. Forced him to throw early. Mike Pelton may have got a hand on the Gator quarterback, and it forced a big turnover, and Auburn is first and goal at the Florida 10.
Auburn came with everybody. It was Brian Robinson in there from his free safety position, a free safety blitz, a big gambling play by Wayne Hall, and there were a host of Tigers down there blocking. A couple of Tigers knocked Eric Rhett down. Chris Schelling, once he made the interception, was goal line bound had it not been for a lot of pursuit by some of the Florida players. But, Jim, what created that play again was Auburn successfully put the pressure on the redshirt freshman Werfel.
Willie Jackson, the wide receiver, finally drove him out of bounds just inside the 10. Auburn with 2 wideouts, a 1-point lead. Here is Bostic giving it off to Sanders. End around Sanders. Got clean sailing to the 5. He's in. Touchdown, Auburn!
Did you see that block? On the end around, Frank Sanders took the ball from Bostic. Stan White took it. He, on the pitch of the tall sweep to the left, gave it to Bostic. Bostic left it with Frank Sanders coming back to the near sideline. And then it was Jason Taylor out there who cut down the only guy who had a chance for the tackle. That was Keidra Malone, number 32. What a block by Jason Taylor.
Have they penalized us again for celebrating? Give me a break.
Now that becomes ridiculous because I didn't really see any
celebrating.
Certainly a lot of enthusiasm, but nothing out of the ordinary. They've taken that penalty too far. Florida has also been penalized one time like that today.
Unjustly, I might add. 34-27 Auburn. Still 7:15 to play. Here's a point after touchdown by Etheridge. Carter holding, kick good. Auburn 35, Florida 27. Auburn will kick off from its 20 when we return. Right now, let's take timeout.
When you're looking for quality workmanship in a complete auto body repair facility, the only place you need to go is Capital City Body Works. At Capital City Body Works, complete means everything from total body repair to a full-service glass and upholstery shop. Our expert staff uses the latest equipment to repair your car. The insurance industry recognizes Capital City Body Works as one of the most qualified facilities in the Southeast. Come see me, Mike Hickson, at Capital City Body Works, 140 Southeast Dale Road, where we're not satisfied until you're satisfied. And believe me, that makes the difference.
Paul Allen back at Auburn Network Control, checking the Dixie Crystal Sugar scoreboard. They're approaching halftime at Legion Field in Birmingham, and Alabama gets another Michael Proctor field goal. It is 7-6. Tennessee leads the Crimson Tide as they get near halftime. Now let's go back. Jim and Charlie at Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Couple of turnovers created by this young Auburn secondary have really played a big role in giving Auburn an 8-point lead over the favored Florida Gators. 35-27 with still 7:15 to play. But Auburn penalized for some phantom celebrating that nobody up here in the press box saw, having to kick off to the Gators from their 20. So that Florida will be assured of good field position.
That was a great call on the touchdown. The end around, the reverse from deep in Florida territory around the 10-yard line. And Frank Sanders had clear sailing after getting a great block by Jason Taylor.
Deep for the Gators. Jack Jackson, Harrison Houston. Brian Karkoska kicks this one deep to the 12. It's going to be Jackson. 20. Flag goes down. 30. Broke a tackle. Still on his feet across the 40. 45. Cuts it back. He's in Auburn land to the 45 and on to the 40. But back upfield, a couple of flags are down. Andre Miller, Derek Robinson making the play. But the Gators, I think, are going to be penalized. Auburn gets a break there because Florida will apparently have the good run back called back due to a penalty. Let's check the call from referee Al Ford.
Illegal block in the back on the return, 10 yards from the spot. First
10 yards from the spot, so instead of the Auburn 40 or so, Florida will have it at its 19. So that didn't turn out quite as bad as you thought it was going to, because after Auburn was penalized for celebrating on the touchdown, the Gators got that long run back, but It's negated by the penalty, and with 7:04 to play, Auburn leads Florida 35-27, and Auburn really has done a dramatic 180 here in the second half. Crowd is yelling its lungs out. Werfel, one setback, gonna throw, gonna go long down this near side, incomplete, marker down. Who they gonna get? Auburn for interference, I believe they will. Dale McGee on Darrell Frazier. That's the first time we've seen that. They did collide coming down this near sideline, and there's a penalty also in the flag down in the Gator backfield. So let's see this one, see what happens. A collision down this sideline between Dale McGee and Frazier, the intended receiver, but there's a flag down at the line of scrimmage, and the Gators are retreating.
Ineligible receiver downfield by the offense. The tight end was covered up. Defensive pass interference against the defense. The penalty's offset. Got first down in.
All right, so those penalties offset. They'll run the down again. 1st and 10 at the 19. 6:57 to go. 35-27 Auburn.
And Steve Spurrier doesn't take long, does he, Jim? When he gets behind, immediately goes to the deep pass.
Werfel with Rhett in the backfield. 3 wideouts to this near side. Werfel's going to throw down the far sideline. Pass is incomplete. Overthrown, intended for Willie Jackson. Well covered by Calvin Jackson. That Auburn secondary, win or lose, has done a great job this afternoon.
And Calvin Jackson, again, man-to-man coverage, and he just always seems to know where the quarterback's going with the football.
Let's give credit where it was due. That was Chris Schelling. Schelling had him covered that time, not Jackson. 2nd and 10 at the 19 for Werfel. No setbacks, 3 wideouts left and 2 to the right. The ball at the right hash mark. Werfel over the middle, pops one complete up to the 25, and dragged down immediately is Willie Jackson by Mike Pina. Pina, a native Floridian, hit him as soon as he caught the ball after a gain of 6 up to the 25, and the Gators will be 3rd down and 4 from there.
This is a big play for the Auburn defense. If Auburn could stop Florida here and get the ball back, then you'd have an opportunity offensively to run some time off the clock.
Clock is running at 6:25. No running backs. Again, the 3 wideouts, left and right. Ball at the right hash mark. Plenty of time for Werfel to throw. Now he's flushed out of the pocket. They're after him. He throws downfield, wide open receiver. Got his man inside the Auburn 40 to the 45 to the 40, and out of bounds is Jack Jackson. Somebody left him all alone. And it's good for a long gain all the way down to the Auburn 40, a 35-yard pickup and a 1st down for the Gators. Brian Robinson drove him out of bounds.
And again, the Auburn pressure went to the inside. No containment on Danny Werfel, and he was able just to run around and try to wait for somebody to break their pass pattern. That was not a planned play. That was just a reaction off a scramble. The containment broke down to the outside, and he was able to scramble to his right.
35-27, Auburn leads Florida. Clock stopped at 6:11 after the long pass completion. Danny Werfel into his cadence. Got one running back, that's Eric Rhett. Going to roll right, looking, fires downfield. Pass is incomplete. Through the hands of the intended receiver, Chris Doring. Chris Schelling covering on the play. Might have gotten a hand on it, slipped right through Doring's hands over on that far boundary. 2nd and 10 from the Auburn 40.
Chris Doring, a lot like Chris Collinsworth, that ball looked like it hit him in the hands. May have been touched by Chris Schelling. Chris Schelling broke in front of him and at least obstructed his vision, if nothing else.
6:05 to play, 35-27 on a fog-shrouded afternoon in Jordan-Hare Stadium where the lights are on. The rain is misting. Rhett, the setback. Slot left, wide out right. Werfel's going to throw. He's going long. Willie Jackson, he's got it. And he was in bounds, they say, down at the 14-yard line. Stepped out of bounds at the 13. Good for a gain of 27 and a 1st down.
And, Jim, nothing more than Steve Spurrier just telling his quarterback to throw it deep. Willie Jackson just on a fly route. Dale McGee was there, and also Otis Mounds was there, but neither were able to make the play. And number 22, Willie Jackson, just caught it with 1 foot in bounds. In college, you only have to have that 1 foot in bounds.
Willie Jackson on the right flank. 2 men in the slot to the right. And Doring's out on the left side as a wideout. Rhett from the 13 is the setback. Werfel looking. Werfel rolling to his right. He's in trouble. Passes upfield. Passes incomplete. Good rush put on by Willie Whitehead. Werfel wanted roughing the passer, won't get it.
And the Auburn fans wanted grounding, but he did have Eric Rett over fairly near the play. And for a redshirt freshman, that's a very poised play to get rid of the ball and not take the loss of yardage. But again, Auburn put a lot of pressure on him. That was Willie Whitehead.
Whitehead had a good rush and drove him to the ground. Werfel was trying to plead with the official. It should have been roughing the passer. No flag went down, but as Charlie said, he could have been whistled maybe for intentionally grounding. 2nd and 10 at the Auburn 13, 35-27 Tigers, 5:49 in the ball game. Red is the setback. Here's Werfel to throw with time. Pass in the end zone is caught. That's good for a touchdown to Jack Jackson. A leaping catch by Jack Jackson, well covered by Del McGee. But a yard deep in the end zone, Jackson is able to haul it in to pull Florida to within 2 at 35-33.
And the Auburn fans want the same call. They want the celebration call in the end zone. And this time, because Coach Terry Bowden so vehemently opposed that when they made the call, they didn't get it against Florida. So
that's amazing. Florida was definitely celebrating.
Had 5 or 6 players in the end zone doing the same thing that the Auburn players did.
They're going to have to do something about this. Well, Florida's going to try to tie the score. They're going for 2. Here's Werfel. 3 wideouts to the right. Rett in the backfield. 1 wideout left. Going for the 2-point play that would tie it up. Werfel, wide open receiver. Jackson. It's good, and we are tied 35 all with 5:44 to go. Florida methodically moving downfield, scoring the touchdown and the tying 2-point conversion. The Gators prepare to kick off as we are deadlocked at 35 apiece in a masterpiece of a ball game. Stand by. Auburn football continues in a moment.
I know a place, a wide open range where the spirit's free to roam. I know a place that won't ever change. Just a taste will take you home. With Dixie House away, the way of the West. When Dixie.
Florida fighting back from 8 points down to deadlock the ball game at 5:44, 35 apiece, and the Gators prepare to kick off. Fog enshrouded Jordan-Hare Stadium. The lights have been on since early in the ball game on this misty Saturday on the plains. Here are the Gators preparing to kick. Shane Edge takes a short approach, and he drills it into the wind to Bailey. Thomas drifting back to the 2, takes it over on this near side. Back to the 10. Bailey speeds out across the 20. Lost the ball. It's loose. Auburn says they've got it. There's a big scramble. Who's coming up with it? Bailey lost the ball on the kickoff return. Let's see. Auburn's ball. Tigers catch a break there. Falling on it. Bailey may have recovered his own fumble. Ben Hanks hit him and jarred it loose.
Well, it looked for a moment that Thomas Bailey was going to have a nice hole to run in, but Ben Hanks hit him solidly, and the ball popped forward, but it was Thomas Bailey who was able to fall forward and get back on that football, and Florida could have had a tremendous break there with Auburn giving them the ball deep in its own territory, but Auburn now locked up 35-35, 5 minutes, 36 seconds remaining in the final quarter.
All right, Stan White comes up under center, wide outs left and right from the I set. White's going to give it to Bostic. James Bostic looking for room. He slides up to about the 29, maybe the 30-yard line. Auburn trying to hammer it out on the ground if they can, picking up about 6. Ben Hanks on the tackle for the Gators.
And Auburn has run the ball more effectively here in the second half. And the Florida drive that lasted for a good while kept that Florida defense on the sideline. So they've gotten a breather. Auburn needs to methodically try to knock out some first downs and bring that fatigue factor back into this Florida defense.
5 minutes to play. 2nd and 6. White from the shotgun going to have to burn a timeout. They weren't together. They were not on the same page. And Auburn has used up yet another timeout unnecessarily. None left as far as timeouts are concerned. 4:58 in the game. We're tied at 35 all. Let's take timeout.
There's strength in numbers, even when it comes to your insurance. Unlike the one company agent you may be dealing with now, the Pinkert Agency offers coverage through dozens of the nation's most reputable insurers. Dozens. For our clients, that means getting the best coverage at the best price. And because the Pinkert Agency represents thousands of families and businesses throughout Alabama, we're a strong voice on behalf of our clients' interests when it comes to claims. Put our numbers to work for you. Call Pinkert today at 244-7000.
Missed by Etheridge, 35 or 37. All right. Yeah. Jim Fife, Charlie Trotman, Quentin Riggins, our producer John Coles, Potter Bo Benton, engineer Larry Wilkins, statistician Andy Burcham, Paul Ellen back at network control, everybody biting their nails into the quick this afternoon. 4:58 to play. Auburn and Florida deadlocked at 35 apiece. The Tigers are second down and 4 at their 30. There's a snap to White. Throws over the middle, tipped and incomplete, intended for Sanders. Coming across the middle, Frank Sanders had the ball tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it was over his head and out of his reach. So the Tigers look at third down and a long 4 at their 30.
One of the Florida front men, I think, again, it was William Gaines, number 94. He really didn't charge in as hard as he normally would. He kind of laid back around the line of scrimmage, and he caught the flight of the ball and tipped it out of Frank Sanders' hands.
Carter is wide left. The ball at the right hash mark. Here's Sanders to this near side. And again, White's going to load up the shotgun. Sanders going in motion back to the left. The snap to White. Stan looks over the middle. Sanders has it at the 35 for a first down and up to the 40. Hit from behind and had his ankles, feet taken out from under him by Hambrick. At the 40-yard line, it's a first down for the Tigers, a gain of 10, as Auburn's drive stays alive and the clock runs at 4:44.
And that play has been open all afternoon. Auburn's only been able to execute it a couple of times, but Frank Sanders coming across that middle may be a big play with only 4:34 left. We may see it again.
Here's the eye. White up under center. He's going to give it this time to his fullback, Richardson. He hammers inside for some hard-earned yards, maybe a yard to the 41. Kept those legs driving. He was hit right at the line of scrimmage by Ben Hanks and Dexter Daniel. And they'll give him almost the 42. We'll say a 2-yard gain for Tony Richardson. And it's 2nd and 8 to go. Eric Dorn reports in a tight end, possibly with a play from the bench, replacing Andy Fuller. 4:05 left in the game. 35 Auburn, 35 Florida. Wideouts left and right as White cocks the trigger on the shotgun. There's the snap. White's in trouble. He forces one over the middle. Pass is incomplete. Fielded on the short hop by Derek Dorn. The rush was coming and knocked him off his feet, and White was fortunate to get rid of that just in the nick of time before Cameron Davis closed him out. And so it's 3rd down and 8 at the Auburn 42.
That was the middle screen to the tight end, and Derek Dorn was absolutely wide open, but Auburn not able to give Stan enough time to get him the football.
So a big 3rd down play here. 35 all, 3:53 to go. Auburn needs 8 for a first. White from the shotgun, slot left, takes a snap and rolls left. He throws upfield. Sanders couldn't get it. Incomplete. And he's belted out of bounds, and it's a Florida penalty. That'll keep the drive going as Sanders was hit out of bounds. And the flag went down. Lawrence Wright hit Sanders after the play, right in front of the Florida sideline.
Not a very smart move. I bet he barely gets back out on the field because Steve Spurrier and his defensive coaches are definitely not going to like what number 4 Lawrence Wright did, a redshirt freshman out of Miami. He leads the defensive backs with 35 tackles, but that ball was completely overthrown.
Was over, personal foul on the defense, 15 yards, automatic first down.
Well, they had Auburn dead to rights. It would have been 4th and 8 back at the 40. But the penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct, personal foul, 15 yards up to the Gator 44. And Auburn keeps moving the football with 3:47 left to play in a tie game at 35 apiece. Here's a first down play by White. The toss sweep to Bostic, racing to this left side. He cuts over the 40. He's into the Gator 37 or so. Daniels and Hambrick on the tackles.
Good blocking that time by the Auburn front. Again, Wayne Gandy doing a nice job, and it was Reed McMillan coming out there and hitting Derek Hamrick, and Hamrick had to make the tackle while he was already on the ground. Nice block by Reed McMillan.
That'll be good for 6 yards into the 38. 3:18, 3:17. Dorn is in. Derek Dorn at tight end. They've got Sanders in the slot. Bailey is the wide out to the left. The ball at the right hash mark. Faked by Stan. Rolls out to his left. Going to run. Yes, he will. Got his first down. Slides under a tackle inside the 35 to about the 32 or 31. First down, Auburn. White with some nifty scrambling and execution. First down, Auburn. As we pause 10 seconds for station identification, this is the Auburn Network.
You're listening to the Orange and Blue FM. WLWI Montgomery. War Eagle.
7-yard bootleg keeper by Stan White into the Gator 31. Auburn with a new set of downs. 2:44, the clock is moving. We're tied 35 all here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Here's White. Almost lost it. Recovers with a flag going down on the play, and White will go down for a loss back at the 33. The ball popped loose from Stan White. He juggled it momentarily, grabbed it, and then fell on it, but Florida was pouring in on him and dropped him for a loss. Let's see the penalty, though. Flag went down, and they may get Auburn on a hold, and if so, that is going to be big-time costly.
Will it take Auburn out of field goal range from an immediate standpoint?
Holding Auburn. And you're right about the field goal. And it's going to stall the drive. Let's get the call from Al Ford.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the spot or the line of scrimmage, still first down.
They were holding at the line of scrimmage, so the penalty moves Auburn back to the Gator 41, a 10-yard step off. And Auburn will be first and 20 from there with 2:33 to go.
Derek Dorn's back in. Let's see if Auburn tries to go with that tight end screen again. It's been wide open. If they could just complete it, he may run forever.
Carter to the right. Sanders to the left or the short side of the field. From the shotgun, they need 20 for a first down. White over the middle. Sanders has it, 35. Sanders to the 30. Sanders to the 29. Maybe the 28-yard line. Sanders popping across the middle, good for 12 or 13 yards. Knocked off his feet by Anthony Lott. Auburn on a first and 20 play picks up about a dozen into the Gator 29.
And good job by Frank Sanders of holding on to the football, because number 9, Anthony Lott, that right cornerback, was trying to strip him of the ball.
2nd and 8 to go with 1:47 and the clock on the move. Here's White out of the shotgun. Takes the snap. Here comes the rush. He floats a pass in the flat that's incomplete to Bostic. Just over his head, the blitz was coming, and White had to unload, and he tried to loft it to James Bostic out in the flat, and it went right over his head and through his hands. Gaines, Hambrick, all pouring in there. And 3rd down and 8 at the 29.
For the second time in this drive, Auburn's had the perfect play called at the perfect time, a screen pass, and Florida had the blitz on, but the blitzing back got to Stan White a little bit before he was able to determine how James Bostic was going to run that screen route.
Here is Willie Gaucher as a flanker to the near side. Sean Carter goes to the left. Backs are in the eye set. Bostic the tailback. Reed McMillan is the fullback. Up under center is White. Gives it to Bostic, looking for running room. Cuts to the outside. Bostic to the 25 and is pulled down 4 yards short of a first down. A good open field tackle by Larry Kennedy of Florida, but Auburn will be 4 yards away from a first down and a timeout called by the Gators. Bostic just could not get away from Kennedy. It looked like he had some running room, but Kennedy pulled him down 4 yards short of a first down with 1:26 to go. Florida calls time. We're tied 35 apiece. Timeout on the field. Auburn football continues in a moment.
Time flies. Time waits for no man. Time is money. If time is important to your business, call Gory Reagan. We help you keep track of your time. Call Gory Reagan for award-winning sales and service of time recording systems, data collection for labor tracking and materials management, and of course, scoreboard. Remember, when time is money, call Gory Reagan.
Scott Etheridge will have the benefit of what wind there is at his back. Charlie missed from 35 earlier in the day. And let's see if Scott has what it takes to get this field goal down from long range. His longest this year, 37 yards. Sean Carter will be the holder, and this is going to be from 41.
Well, he kicked a 43-yard field goal with 8 seconds to go against LSU last year to win the game. Let's see if Scott Etheridge can get a little confidence back after missing that field goal earlier in the game and nail this one.
Ball at the left hash mark. He'll have an angle back to the right. Waiting for the snap. The spot. Kick away. Plenty long. Kick is good! It's good! Etheridge, at a minute 21 in the ball game, has kicked it through. And Auburn breaks out on top, 38-35. Still plenty of time to go.
And that had a lot to spare, Jim, a lot of room to spare. That ball would have been good from 53 yards. What a kick by Scott Etheridge. He thrives on pressure, seems to do best when the game is on the line. Now, the question is, has Auburn scored too quickly? Because against this Steve Spurrier offense, a minute and 21 seconds can sometimes seem like an eternity. Let's keep in mind that they only average slightly over 2 minutes in a regular ball game on their scoring marches. So Auburn needs to try to pin Florida deep. Maybe if Brian Karkoska can kick it in the end zone, make them go all 80 yards.
The senior from Valencia, California, Scott Etheridge, has kicked a field goal of 41 yards to give Auburn the lead, 38-35 in this dramatic SEC showdown here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Now the onus is on the back of the Auburn defense to try to stop this lethal Florida fun and gun attack. Brian Karkoska kicks to Jack Jackson and Harrison Houston. There's the kick. It's going to be deep, 5-6 yards. Jackson won't bring it out of the end zone, and the Gators will set up 1st and 10 at the 20 with a minute 21 to go. You talk about a heart stopper. We've got it here.
No time off the clock on the kick because it went in the end zone. So Brian Karkoska does his job. He sets the Auburn defense up with 80 yards of green behind them. A lot of room in there to make some good defensive plays, but Florida certainly, with a minute and 21 to go, they're going to be looking at getting in scoring territory in a hurry.
Jack Jackson, Willie Jackson, all in there as wide receivers. Harrison Houston, all are on the right flank. Red is the setback. Here's a first down play. Auburn with a 4-man rush. Checking off at the line of scrimmage is the quarterback, Werfel. Play clock down to 3. Werfel, short drop. Fires. Pass is caught by Willie Jackson at the 25, and he fights his way up to the 27 or 28.
Now that's a dangerous situation for Dell McGee to be in. He was over here on this near sideline, man-to-man only on Willie Jackson. Willie Jackson's the one that has caught the couple of long passes to set him up for their last score and 2-point conversion.
Call it the 28-yard line, a gain of 8. We're down to 58 seconds. Florida again changing its play. Werfel going to throw down this near side. Incomplete to Willie Jackson. Well covered by Calvin Jackson. Flag is down at the line of scrimmage. Stopping the play at 50 seconds. A flag is down. Let's see what the call. Procedure, Florida. Florida penalized for illegal procedure.
Keep in mind, Auburn is out of timeouts, but Florida has 2 timeouts remaining. We've got 50 seconds to go. The illegal procedure is going to make it, instead of 2nd and 1, it's going to make it 2nd and 6. Was that a dead ball call? It'll be 2nd and 6, I believe, on this play.
2nd and 6 is right. Now, keep in mind, Florida had a similar situation at Lexington, Kentucky earlier in the year. They were able to come from behind on the road and beat the Wildcats. Let's see if the Tigers can stop them. 50 seconds to go. Leading by 3. The blitz is coming. Werfel over the middle. Got a man wide open. Willie Jackson. Jackson gave up real estate, broke 1 tackle, got over the 30. Jackson now is going to be put down at about the 34-yard line. Jackson came back inside the 30 as Florida calls time. Play is stopped with the first down. He came inside the 30, which would have given him the first down, gave up 3-4 yards, and then moved on up to the 34 after breaking a tackle. Looked like Auburn had him pinned.
Steve Spurrier gets a break because he doesn't have to call the timeout. The change stopped the clock. First down, Florida.
We're down to 29 seconds. Danny Werfel looking to throw. Werfel is hit. Lost the ball. Loose. Auburn picks it up. Harris picks it up. Now they say pass incomplete. They say pass incomplete, no fumble. He was hit from behind by Ace Atkins on the blind side, coughed up the ball, but the officials say his arm was in motion, and it's a pass incompletion and not a fumble.
And if anybody gets my vote for the player of the game today, Jim, it may very well go to Ace Atkins. He would have to have a lot of consideration. He has made a difference in this ball game. He's come in and put pressure on Danny Werfel when few people were able to.
So Auburn thought they had a fumble recovered, but they ruled that it's a pass incompletion. 2nd and 10 at the Tigers at the Gator 34, and a time is called by Werfel. Werfel calls time with 21 seconds to go. Auburn 38, Florida 35. Right now, let's take timeout.
Wells Printing, a name that has meant quality printing and unparalleled service since 1947. Books, publications, brochures, business forms, color printing. Wells Printing does it all. Plus, Wells Printing is locally owned and operated, so you know you're dealing with hometown people who understand your printing needs and can provide you with quick turnaround on any job you've got. Wells Printing, 6030 Perimeter Parkway, just off the Troy Highway, or call 281-3449.
No one in this crowd is sitting down. Everybody is on their feet. 21 seconds to play. The Gators at their 34, looking at 2nd down and 10, trailing Auburn 38-35, and the crowd responding to the pleas of the Auburn defense and the Tiger sideline to make all the noise they can and try to disrupt Danny Werfel and the Florida offense. 21 seconds to go. Werfel up to the line of scrimmage, one running back. That's Rhett. Werfel's going to backpedal, set up, looking to throw with some time. Now he's flushed out of the pocket. Werfel's going to set up, going to go long down the field. Jackson's down there. It is knocked down, incomplete. He was double-teamed. Good coverage on Darrell Frazier. And we're down to 12 seconds.
It was Otis Mounds and Brian Robinson who were deep on the play. The strong safety and the free safety playing half-field coverage deep together. Danny Werfel did not get off a great pass, but I tell you what, Brian Robinson barely got a hand on that because Frazier had both of his hands on the ball.
Here comes the noise again. 12 seconds to go. 3rd and 10, Florida at their 34. 2 wideouts to the right, 1 to the left. Red is the setback. Now he's in a double wing. Werfel backpedaling and setting up. Going for broke down that far side. Del McGee had a hand on it, couldn't hang on. Pass incomplete to Jack Jackson. And we have 5 seconds to go. And Florida will be 4th and 10 at their 34. Auburn needs to hang on for one more play.
Well, the key here is that getting a first down does Florida no good. Getting in field goal range, in my estimation, with 5 seconds to go is next to impossible. Florida has got to run basically a Hail Mary play.
They have called time using their last timeout. 38-35 with 5 seconds to go. Quentin Riggins, the noise down there must be deafening. Can you hear us? Obviously not. That noise from this 85,000 plus has got to be awesome to Danny Werfel and the Florida offense. Charlie, I think the crowd has to take some credit for this Auburn comeback here in the second half. And you pointed out during the commercial a moment ago that this signifies a great halftime adjustment on the part of Coach Bowden and the staff. Let's go down to Quentin Riggins.
Yeah, Jim, Auburn is so loud down here that I can't hear myself think. I have to put on both headphones just to hear the broadcast. This is the loudest the stadium has been since the Auburn-Alabama game. And if you can hear the fans down here, it's tremendous sound.
Well, if the fans can hear us on the broadcast, when they come up to the line of scrimmage, make a lot of noise because 5 seconds to go. And this, Jim, would be one of the greatest halftime adjustments that I've seen a coaching staff make.
All right, here's Florida now. Looks like a Big Ben right. They've got Terry Dean back up quarterback in the ball game. Look for him to get his hands on the ball and try to throw the Big Ben. 4th and 10, Werfel. Back to throw, fires. It's Jack Jackson. He's got a first down, tried to lateral. Loose ball. It's on the ground. Time is out. Auburn has won. Auburn has won. The Tigers have defeated the Florida Gators. Auburn 38, Florida 35. Can you believe it? This team of destiny has come from behind to upset 4th-ranked and previously undefeated Florida. The Auburn Tigers are back. Count on it.
And that wasn't much of a handshake that Steve Spurrier just gave Terry Bowden, but the Auburn fans will give him a handshake. What a job by this Auburn coaching staff.
Unbelievable. They were down and appeared to be hopelessly out of it. Listen to the crowd celebrate.
More than 300 yards points for the University of Florida in the first half. Auburn holds the Florida attack with fun and gun to 1 touchdown and a 2-point conversion in the second half. That is an adjustment.
Your final score, Auburn 38, Florida 35. Our post-game celebration will begin in a moment.